Good
Good
morning. Good
morning.
morning.
How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm doing good today.
Good. Good.
Moving along, I guess the
Yes.
best way to put it. I'm
Yes.
running a
Yep.
little bit behind. Spring break, I think I slept in a bit
Spring
extra.
break. I've had family with the flu. So
Yeah,
everybody seems to slowly be getting out of it, but it's going around, I guess.
I think
So,
so. And I think the weather, again, you're close to where I am in the south.
hmm
So just the going back and forth between the hot and the cold.
yes.
The cold definitely doesn't help.
Yeah, it
I
was
know.
29 degrees the other day. You know what it is now? It's going to be in the 90s today.
Yeah, it was cold. I think it was the day before yesterday, and then it was like 70 or 75, something like that.
Yeah. It's
So
crazy. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy.
yeah. But speaking of crazy, so I had seen this weekend where Joseph Duggar of 19 Kids and Counting has been arrested. So I'm pretty sure you had seen that update also as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so what were you thinking about that? And hello, Tara.
I was thinking another one. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what I was thinking. Just wow. Hi, Tara.
Hi, Tara. And
You're
good.
cooking. What are you cooking?
Yeah. I'm curious. That's what I need to do in just a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was thinking
Yeah.
the same thing. So now we're on the second child that we know of who has been arrested for, I want to say essay of a child. I haven't,
Yeah.
we're going to look a little bit more in the clip to it. But so yeah, what was
How
your kind of
how did
first
he
thought of
get
that?
reported? How did he get reported? That's because I want to say um, if this is the second Duggar
Right.
and the first one, it's been a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, blackened chicken Alfredo. I'm with you, girl.
Yeah, that sounds really
Blackened
good.
chicken. I'm with you. Um, and now it's been a while since
Yeah,
the other one was
arrested.
right. And so now you got the second one. And where did this tip come in at? Or they had to have been watching them for a little bit, or maybe school or something. But that would lead me to just check out all of them.
Right. Yeah, right. You'd want to start really looking into that household
Right.
and see what's going
Right.
on, that most of the men coming out of this household are kind of seeming to have tendencies toward children, young
Right.
children. So now from what I saw, his victim was about 9, I believe, at the time. Yeah, so
Okay.
here we go. That it was 9-year-old and they were on vacation. So this happened over a span of time, I believe, over about like I think it said almost 4 to 5 years or something. So or at least it was
Wow.
4 to 5 years ago. So the child is now about 14 to 15. So they came
Okay.
forward and said something. So I'm wondering if
Okay.
this interview that we have pulled up will kind of go into that a little bit more. But yes, it was the child was 9 at the time. And
Okay.
and what I kind of it reminded me of almost like kind of taking a child in and kind of yeah, like COVID. Like, so I don't know if this child was staying with them, and that's why the wife was also charged later on, or at least arrested. I do know she's been released. So again, we'll kind of look
Right.
more into the news clips. But
Right.
from what I was kind of understanding, it was kind of like they were kind of playing the role of a trusted adult figure in this child's life. And that's kind of the role they were letting this child kind of believe they were kind of coming in on in this. And so then they ended up taking advantage of the person, of the child.
So the child was not theirs.
No,
Got you. Okay.
no. Yeah.
Because
So
I hadn't looked into it, so I wasn't sure if it was their child or someone else's child. So that's why I was asking how did it this damn cat.
it wants to be on, it loves live,
Oh, I
especially
want
afternoon, high noon chats.
look.
Oh, is it in the Oh, how adorable. That's cute.
He's too fat to be in there.
Okay,
He's too
just
fat.
perfect. That fit just perfect, Mom. What are you talking about?
Too fat. It's always the ginger kitty. It's
Yeah,
always been the ginger kitty. I'm just saying. Okay,
yours
sorry.
is real fluffy. Rex isn't as fluffy as your ginger kitty is.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Just a different kind of hair texture.
I,
Yeah.
he's different than my gray cat, Toby Binks. He's fluffy like that too. So I don't know.
Yeah. I
Anyways,
always wondered. But yeah, I remember what I was saying before that.
I know.
But yeah, so I don't think I don't think it has anything so far to do with their own children so far that I know of.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
But yeah, we'll kind of look into that clip a little bit more. I'm
That's
not sure if Tara
interesting.
has seen a little bit. Yeah, I thought so. And it did say vacation. So I was kind of curious too how that vacation went. So I'm going to try to look up more clips and things, and I'm sure more things will come out, along the time. But I do believe the person's still, a minor, so I don't know how much will come out.
Well, if they did it to a child that's not theirs, what are the odds
that they're doing it to theirs?
Right.
Pretty good, probably, in my opinion.
Right.
So, and that's what makes me think about what was going on in their own household. And you start to think about, to me, again, I always noticed when we would watch the 19 Kids and Counting or whatever it started off as, the mother seemed very childlike to me. She would talk like a child. She dressed like a child. She put her hair up like a child. I mean, they're always talking in this baby voice too. And I always remember thinking like, oh, what? It's so weird. I've never met another, person's mom who talks like that. And I don't think it is. I think it's very forced. And then and then also the girls, never being allowed to wear pants, always having to wear skirts. Again, I'm just kind of looking into it now, and so now you have the second kid coming out too. So it does make you kind of wonder a little bit maybe what was going on possibly with the parents in that household.
Right.
And hello, Sunflower. Welcome. And I'm sure Rabbit's chat was great too. Thanks for stopping by.
Yep.
Sunday, everybody's having their chats, I think, pretty much right now.
Yeah. That's what we were thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. And we were talking about that, just kind of how it seems to be like a lot of those cult-like religions or whatever, they do have a lot of that going on, and they're not,
I would assume that child was from the same type of cult-like.
Probably. I mean, they seem to be, again, I'm only going off of what we've seen on some of the shows, but they seem to vacation in groups and in families. And that might also be for a reason and a purpose too. The same reason I feel like the McCanns used to travel with their closest friends, with their young children too. I think they had a purpose for it. Even the Ramseys kind of did the same thing too with John Bonet and their children. They would all have
100%. Yeah.
So, I don't know. I just think that some of those things always kind of happened when you look at some of those cases.
Yeah.
But hello, Moonchild. Amber,
hello,
how are you? And thank y'all for joining us. So we're just kind of talking about the Duggars. Yeah. So I guess before we get into this, this clip is about 3 minutes, and then I wanted to also go into a clip of Amy, which was the cousin who would be on the show sometimes, kind of talking about some of the stuff that could have been happening. But before we kind of go on that, was there anything kind of that you wanted to talk about, like that you just stood out when you first heard about it, and what crossed your mind?
Just that, another one. Maybe we need to be investigating the whole
thing. Yeah.
What are the odds?
And how much the girls, when they did become of age, most of them, whether they didn't say anything much about the family at all, or they didn't speak to them anymore, or they just didn't talk. They stayed very quiet. I know there's one girl who kind of has been more outspoken. I can't remember which one it is, so I don't really just want to say off the top of my head who it is. But she's been more outspoken about why she's kept from the family.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll go ahead and pull this up though. So I'm going to cut my camera as I start pulling this up because it'll start to glitch from my side. We'll kind of watch this news clip. We'll discuss it and then kind of go into the next one that I want to pull up.
I'll cut mine too. I don't know if that would help you, but
I think so.
Okay.
Until I can figure out this, I need to probably get the kind of internet you have. So, because this one ain't cutting it anymore.
I remember struggling with mine. I do.
I never had a problem with it before until now. So, interestingly enough.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Share screen. All right.
I'm usually asleep, but had to be awake yesterday during the day for my son's 28th birthday. Well, happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday. That's exciting. 28.
Yeah.
Getting big. All right.
Hi, Missy. Thank you, sweet love, for coming.
Yes. Thank you, everyone, for dropping in. I greatly appreciate it. So I'm going to go ahead and hop over to the interview thing. So I'm going to step away from the comments. If anything pops out, Tammy, just let me know.
Okay.
All right. So here we go.
Custody tonight for allegedly molesting a 9-year-old girl back in 2020. Joseph Duggar starred on that TLC reality show 19 Kids and Counting as a kid. You remember the show followed this conservative Christian family with 19 children. Well, now Duggar is accused of touching a girl inappropriately during a family vacation to Florida when he was about 26. Reps for the Duggar family and TLC did not respond to our request for comment, but officials say that Duggar admitted to the allegations to the victim's father and to investigators in Arkansas where he was arrested. This is not the first allegation against the Duggar family. TLC axed the show some years ago in 2015 after revelations that the oldest son, Josh, molested 5 children, including 4 of his sisters. He's in federal prison now, serving a 12-year sentence for possessing child sex abuse images. Jesse Kirsch is joining us now. What else do we know, Jesse, about how these accusations against Duggar came to light and what happens from here?
Yeah, Hallie, we don't know much, and that is, of course, because we are talking about an incident that involves a minor. We know that those cases often are more secretive in terms of what kinds of information gets out into the public domain to protect those children as much as you possibly can. And so the details are not out there in great amounts. But what I can tell you is that I spoke with someone from the sheriff's office earlier, and what investigators say happened, according to an interview with this young girl in Florida's Panama City Beach back in 2020. I'm going to read from a statement put out by the sheriff's office in Bay County, Florida. Quote, the victim reported Duggar repeatedly asked her to sit on his lap as the vacation continued. He also asked her to sit next to him on a couch and covered them with a blanket. During this time, Duggar manipulated the victim's underwear and grazed her genitals. And we do have information on the 2 charges he now faces. I believe we can put that up on screen, speaking to what he is facing now. But bottom line,
don't sound like his first time from that.
That is what it is, right, in the legalese. But what we're talking about here is someone who's being accused of molesting and sexually assaulting a 9-year-old girl at the time, who is now 14 years old. I asked the sheriff's office if they could give any detail on the extent of the relationship between these two, what their connection is between the suspect and the alleged victim here, and the sheriff's office would not go into that detail. Again, we're talking about a situation involving a child. They're trying to protect that child and this victim, as they say, is identity.
And it is yet another just horrifically disturbing allegation involving a member of the Duggar family, a family that was, I don't know if people remember, Jesse, but they were like such a sort of a huge phenomenon. They were part of this sort of cultural moment back in, you know, I guess the 2010s when the show was out, when it was on TV, et cetera.
Yeah, and as you alluded to, this is not the first time that this family has been caught in this kind of controversy. You talk about Josh Duggar. He is the older brother of Joseph Duggar, and he is in behind bars right now, as you said, in the middle of a federal sentence. Important to note, those allegations of him molesting 5 children, including 4 of his sisters, never led to charges, but he is, as you mentioned, in prison right now because he's been convicted of receiving and possessing child sex abuse images. So this is a situation where this family is dealing with.
Yeah, he came out defending his brother too already.
Disturbing realm. Once
so
again,
he wasn't. He's not in prison for doing that to his siblings. He's in prison for something else.
Apparently not. I didn't know that either. I thought that he was in there for at least one of. I didn't know there was more than one sister either. That the oldest one. I thought it was just about 1, maybe 2. I didn't know it was about 4 to 5 of them.
Wow, I thought he was in there for that reason. So he would not be in there if it wasn't for the other.
Right. So more than likely they got the sisters to probably drop it. The parents did. And you know, he reminds me of his dad. The way he talks and acts and very arrogant. He reminds me of his dad. So, and I'll kind of get into why I bring his dad up, you know, as we get more into Amy's. Is
he also in Arkansas? The oldest one?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
We can look back at it in a little bit just to see, you know, like get the original first news clip just to kind of see what all his charges originally were. Let's see. Bunch of sisters, and he got caught on. Yeah, see, I saw where they had a bunch of he had a bunch of child stuff on, or you know, CP, I guess you would say, on his computer at a dealership he owned, a car dealership that he owned. And so that's what in the video when they come to like start interrogating him and kind of going on the property, that's what they had the search warrant for, was those computers. Or at the dealership that he worked for, he owned it, I guess. But yeah, we'll look at that too, because there's body cam of that. But yeah, I didn't know it was so many of his sisters though. I thought it was just like one. So let's see what he says real quick. There's only just a few seconds.
With this one, and no specifics on that front necessarily at this point, but certainly, Hallie, more questions to be answered here.
Jesse Kirsch, thank you very much for covering that one for us, and I appreciate it.
We thank you for watching, and remember.
Okay, I'm just gonna pull that off for right now. The screen, just so we can.
It's okay, Eve. We didn't really put a notification out. We just kind of went live. We were kind of we talked about it yesterday, but we kind of threw it together this morning, so it was kind of
Last minute.
last minute. Yeah, it was kind of last
And that's
minute.
more my
why I'm-
fault. So yeah,
No,
that's my
okay.
fault. But
We're not
let's
the only ones that go last minute. I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, especially on Sunday, you never really, on a weekend too, you never really know what's happening and things like
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
let me see. I think I am just going to go ahead and kill my camera because it's so bad right now.
That's good.
Do you
That's
wanna-
fine. I'll do that
okay,
too.
I'm going to kill my
Yeah.
camera. Why? Because I'm going to look for stuff, and when I do that, it's going to freeze my face and look all goofy
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah.
So, let's see, because I want to find some more clips now. And yes, the wife was arrested. I heard she was let go though, so I'm curious as to why.
Yeah.
She was let go if she was. But yeah, obviously they had mentioned something that she had done or said or was a part of for her to also be mentioned in it.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to know if any more people come forward on him too.
I wonder if just because she was just an adult there that should have been the protector, but yeah, I guess she wasn't paying enough attention.
And it did say family vacation. If you
That's what I'm
noticed.
saying. Do
It
they
said
have
family
age?
vacation?
Do they have a child that age that this child is friends with?
That, or it could have been like a cousin or a family member to her family or Josh's, but I'm
Yeah.
thinking maybe more like her family for some reason.
Yeah.
But again, I'm just guesstimating on that. I don't really know yet. So we'll go through more of that to see. I want to get to Amy's, but there was one more interview I want to pull up first though.
Hi, Ronnie. Welcome.
Hello, Ronnie.
She bonded out and has court tomorrow. The Duggars got it sealed, I think. Well,
Of why, like what? Here it is. See, Duggar's wife facing charges. Let's see what this says. Hold on.
yeah, that's what Tara said. She said they got
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tara's usually good about having all this, all these
Yeah.
great information.
That's good.
All right, so let me share this one, and then we'll pull that up. But yeah, we're gonna go Duggar diving today.
Duggar diving
Duggar diving.
into the dumpster. Here we go.
Yeah, Duggar dumpster diving.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing in here. Huh? Let's see. Oops. All right.
And I will be live this afternoon for the
Yes.
Watts case. Me and Megan have to decide if it's going to be sooner or later. we've got a couple of hours times we're throwing around.
Yeah.
We're just kind of winging those right this minute, but we'll decide, and I will put it out where you'll get a notification. So
Okay, great. Yeah. Good, Tara.
yeah.
I just went Duggar driving with my sister.
See? Yeah, with my sister-in-law. Yeah,
You see Tara's little feet trying to jump out the window.
Tara with her little feet. Did you have to have something to stand on, Tara?
Just
I
slow down.
I would have to have something to stand on. Just saying, I'm only 5'3".
Yeah.
I would definitely have to have something to stand on
Right.
before I even got started to digging.
Right. That's funny. Okay, let's see what they say really quick about her, because this one's about 3 minutes too, so it's not too long about the wife.
Well, tonight, brand new charges filed against Joseph Duggar just days after he was charged with molestation in Florida. This time, charges have now been filed in Washington County. And that's where we begin tonight. Good evening, and thanks for joining us at 5 o'clock. I'm Allie Lynch. And tonight, we've learned his wife has been charged as well. Our Doug Warner joins us live tonight outside of the Duggar compound there in Tawnytown. And Doug, you've been following this case all day for us.
It's been a very long and very active day for Tawnytown police, to say the least. This, again, just want to emphasize, all of these charges that we put out on KNWA, our app, just about 15 minutes ago, broke the news, are completely separate from what Joseph Duggar faces out of Florida. Of course, those are
Florida, okay.
sex crimes against a minor that he faces there. These are all incidents
Yeah,
that
it happened in
reportedly,
Florida. He's
allegedly
been
happened
extradited.
here in Washington County in
Gotcha.
Tawnytown. Let's show you this
Forgot
video.
about that
This was
part.
around 1 o'clock today when I've got word. I got that police were in search of Kendra Duggar to basically serve her with warrants for 4 or actually 8 additional charges. 4 counts
Woo.
of endangering the welfare of a minor
Yeah, there
in
it
the
goes.
second
Yeah,
degree,
see?
and 4 counts of
Mhm.
false imprisonment of a minor.
False
These are
imprisonment.
identical to the
Oh,
charges that were
holding her.
reported earlier today that Joseph
Mhm.
Duggar also faces here locally. They tell me these charges stem from the beginnings of their investigating the case out of Florida that dates back to 2020, where a young person has come forward and made claims that Joseph Duggar touched her inappropriately while they were in Florida, Panama City Beach. During that investigation, they said they uncovered these alleged incidents. So Basically, they came to this compound that we're calling it. It's the one that was featured on the show, 19 Kids and Counting, for so many years. At the gate for at least a half hour, the gate would not open. Then I'm told that they were told that she would turn herself in at the Washington County Jail. And I confirmed that just a short time ago, that is what took place. She has turned herself in at the Washington County Jail. So with Joseph Duggar behind bars, awaiting extradition to go to Florida to face those sex crimes with a minor charge. Now he's faced with 8 additional counts, a combination of endangering the welfare of a minor, as well as in false imprisonment, both second degree. Those are the identical charges now his wife faced. I specifically asked, when did these alleged incidents take place? They could not give specifics. Obviously, this is still an active investigation, but it does seem to be, they allege, in recent history, as they also uncovered it just this week. We're going to stay on top of that. We're going to hear from the Taneytown Police coming up at 6 o'clock. We just, again, as we speak, Taneytown detectives visiting with Kendra Duggar at the Washington County Jail, where she's turned herself in to face those 8 misdemeanor charges, the same charges Joseph Duggar now faces behind bars as well. Allie, back to you.
All right, Doug, fantastic work. Thank you so much. We'll check back in with you coming up at 6 o'clock.
So they said that she had COVID, but she really didn't. They were holding her under the pretense that she had COVID to keep her away from her family.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I didn't hear that part, if that's what they did or not. I don't know if it was just during that time frame and they used that, or if that's just, what they actually said.
Withholding her, they were imprisonment,
they were keeping
so
her.
Yeah. So did they say were they using COVID as the reason they were keeping her? Like, oh, well, she had COVID, so we were, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know if they use that as a reason, or it just happened to be during COVID, or if they said some other reason to her.
Okay. So, but no, it's their kids, Kendra's kids. I think they locked them at night. Oh.
Yeah, because I kind of heard it reminded me of something where like they had this girl, like they somehow convinced, I don't know if it would have been a parent or a guardian or something, that this girl could come stay with them or something like that. And it was supposed to be, that's kind of what I had heard it happen. I don't remember exactly what I saw it on. That's kind of where I because it's somebody else's channel who was discussing it. And I don't know if their videos, like they want them shared or not,
Well, there's 4 counts of that. So it probably meant 4 kids she was holding.
Yeah.
I would think. I don't know.
4 different occasions if she was there for longer.
That's true. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Something in their house. Yeah. See, I heard it happened in their house. Like they had taken this kid to their house, and then like they were kind of letting people think that this kid, they were helping this kid out, just letting this kid kind of live with them kind of thing. And they were taking advantage of the kid.
That's a huge house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Compound on top of it.
You're right. I remember watching them when they got married. I remember thinking, this girl is so sweet. Yeah.
Well, even like the oldest one's wife too, the same thing. Looked just like his mama, acted just like his mama, talked like, but same thing, real quiet, real calm, real meek and mild, and then you find out all the CP and porn with the older, I said porn anyways, but whatever, that's what it is. But you know what I'm saying? That you find out all this stuff. So she knew that the oldest son was doing that too. She wasn't naive to it.
No.
So yeah, a lot of them, they just seem so sweet, right?
Yeah.
So, and then that's why I want to bring up this cousin's interview next, because then they started bringing up, picking apart Amy Duggar's book, which was the cousin's book, who had stayed and lived with them for a bit. And then that's when
coming to give you all the latest information and updates on the Duggar case, as well as
so I'm gonna stop sharing it real quick so it doesn't automatically pop up. But anyways, they start picking apart her book and about how she's talking about not being able to stay there, not being able to wear certain swimsuits, certain clothing, certain things like that. And like sleepovers were completely off limits. And so now they're kind of going to where they think that had a bit of a relation possibly to the dad and the adults, in the house too before. And obviously the younger kid, the boys, because now we know what's coming out against them, right. But they're starting to pick apart her book now, though, and they're starting to find little pieces in there about that. So that's what I was going to pull up next.
Where she's kind of hiding what happened in her book.
Kind of like she's saying it, but not directly. Yeah. So it's right. I'm pretty sure. Eventually, with as many of them doing what they were doing, she probably did figure out one day it's going to come out. And then this was her way of kind of dropping the hint. So she blames alleged CS abuse on toxic family cycles. So I'm going to pull that one up. Yeah, I feel like the dad is one for sure, and the mom is one too, or she just turned a blind. Either way, she's guilty of it too. So it doesn't matter if she's actively she's in the same
she's
like we were talking about.
She's told you will do it this way, and I'm the boss.
Right. And you see her in a lot of those telling the girls to behave like they're supposed to and wear what they're supposed to. You know what I mean? So she's making sure that they're going to behave like they're supposed to. So they're wanted the way they're supposed to. So that mom's sick too. They're all sick.
You will conform to what we're saying you do.
Yeah. You're going to be a sweet young lady. Okay.
Be sweet.
Yeah. How many kids? Yeah. Be sweet. Have sweet dreams. Like, damn, you even invade their head and their dreams.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me. But I want to pull that up real quick because I just thought it was interesting and I wanted to see what she talks about in this interview, the cousin, and about how she would. I don't know how much she goes into that on here about the book, but she's talking about some type of abuse taking place. So let's see.
She's related to the Duggar side.
When you heard this news,
yeah, and I believe she is the dad's probably biological. I guess you would say niece.
Gotcha. Okay.
Related to the dad's sibling somehow.
About your cousin Joseph.
To be honest, I was absolutely and utterly broken. It's extremely heartbreaking to know that someone who you once had so much fun with, who you loved, who he has such a great personality, could ever become allegedly, a predator. And so it is really, really hard to take in. And I'm honestly having a very hard time comprehending it. But at the same time, I'm also not surprised that something like this was bound to happen again, because when you're in a toxic cycle and a pattern, and that's just what happens, because you
toxic
are
cycle. I mean, happening
secrecy,
generation to
accountability is something that is not approved.
Did you ever have any suspicions about Joseph?
I had zero suspicions. He is the last person in the entire family that I ever saw something like that ever happen.
So how much worse are the others?
Why do you think that you saw a different version than what's now being said about him?
He was joyful. He was fun. We had inside jokes. He was the laugh of the party. He was so kind and so humble and so great. And so it really hurts so deep knowing that it's Joe.
You said, obviously, this news is very heartbreaking to you. How are you digesting everything? How do you wrap your mind around something of this magnitude?
She's very pretty.
I honestly think anyone that is healthy and is a sane person cannot wrap their head around hurting a 9-year-old. I mean, she was
any.
And I think first and foremost,
okay, go ahead, Tara.
Acknowledge the fact of how brave this young girl is for coming forward and talking and and saying this isn't right and wanting justice. If this whole thing is true, and,
I agree, Ron.
it does. I can't wrap my head around it. It's just something that I hate that it's happening again.
And you
so you notice she said something that's interesting. We'll talk about.
What's up?
She said that, I knew this was going to happen again.
Yeah.
So you've seen it for yourself. I just kind of have an issue with that, because if she knew it was going to happen again, why didn't she say anything?
Maybe she didn't know who the other ones, because if she's saying this is the one that she least thought was going to do it, that means she thought the other, and I'm not going to say girls didn't either. I mean, she's saying she's not specifically saying which gender, but regardless, let's just say we're talking about all the boys. How many boys are there even? Probably enough, probably more than 5 or 6. So, I don't know. So whether she doesn't, she just doesn't know what the other one's done, but she has ideas, and that's what she means. Like, it just was a matter of time before somebody told. But maybe she's, because it's been, I'm trying to think of how long it's been since the oldest. I can't even think of the oldest one's name right now. It's not. I'm going to pull his name up real quick. The first one who got arrested, because that was a little bit ago.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what she's talking about. After him, she knew eventually somebody would come out and tell on another one, and she just didn't think it was going to be Joseph.
Yeah.
Josh Duggar.
Josh. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it's her fault or in any kind of way or anything like that. I just find it odd that she just says, I knew it was going to happen again. And
I think it's probably more likely you're going to hear more now too. Maybe there'll be even more brothers or who knows? Like even sisters. I mean, I don't know. Once you're getting married at some point, you're kind of, and again, I don't believe that, what was it? Josh Duggar's wife didn't know. Clearly this guy's wife knew.
Yeah.
So, and then I think that their dad's wife knows.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, again, that's why she keeps talking about all these cycles. Like how many more is going to go down? Look at all them kids they have. So who knows?
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Let's see though what else she talks about it. Whoops, I keep skipping it when I do that.
How would you, especially for people who may not be familiar with this system, right? How would you describe the toxic system that some of your cousins and family members have been trapped in?
I wrote Holy Disruptor, my memoir, about this toxic system. And I talk about how there's no accountability held for the men. There never has been, and there probably never will be unless the police get involved. And it's so sad, but these men
And why aren't
can
they?
make up any kind of rules that they would like to.
Why aren't the police getting
and
involved?
that goes for the whole entire household.
It's a pervert right
and
here.
No one questions it. They're not allowed to. They are superior to everyone.
I guess because you have to be willing to press the charges.
it
Maybe that's why his sisters, and he didn't go to jail, Josh, for some of the stuff that happened with his sisters and the other stuff, because they decided not to press the charges. So maybe that's what
they think it's not wrong under their belief system. I'll put it like that.
I think they know it's wrong, but it's like, they're like you said earlier, they're using it to cover it up, their behavior, what they're doing. Yeah, very much using the belief system to cover it.
Yeah, that's my opinion. But
yeah,
heartbreaking because no one can stand up to them. They are shamed, they are silenced, and it is completely toxic.
So when accountability is, happening in real time, while it is your family member, how does that sit with you?
I can be heartbroken for the person I thought someone was, and I've had to do it before. But at the same time, I want justice to be served. I want that victim, that sweet little girl, to know that her voice matters and that someone is going to be held accountable to it because of it. And I just want the truth to be told. The truth has been so hard to find in my family. It's something that has always been hidden. I talk about it in my book again. This is not something that has happened one time. Okay. It's not contained to one person. It is a tree of toxicity, two brothers and one tree. You know what I mean? And so the roots run.
Yeah, and so there's 10 males in this family and 9 females. So that's what I'm saying. I think that's why it's important that she's talking about like how much the truth is hidden, but it's right out there in the open almost. Like the whole family knows about it, but just to keep their secret, everybody hides everything, or to keep their stuff out of jail or prison, basically. So I don't know. I think it's important that people start telling on their families and their family secrets too.
Yeah.
Because I feel like stuff gets hidden for too long, and look how many generations and cycles, like she's saying, it's gone down now. Like all these men who are doing it to their children and their sisters and wives, cousins, and whatever, you know what I mean? And all because they just lie for these men. For what reason? Other than just keep their asses out of jail. For what reason?
Right.
That's where they belong. So that's what I'm saying. I think it's important that you start telling family secrets. They shouldn't be kept in the first place.
Because you're going to continue the cycle. They're going to do it to their kids, and then so on.
Yeah, and then
or somebody else. I mean,
and the cycle end up with a bunch of perverts in charge of the United States of America.
Like the island.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It goes that way.
They're already trying to get rid of everybody in Hollyweird. I mean, I don't know why you want to fill it back up.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is hiding those kind of bad behaviors eventually leads to something bigger and something bigger and something bigger, because it just does. That's the way things are. You do something bad, eventually you have to do something worse to get the thrill that you originally got from doing that little bad thing.
Yep.
So.
And there's one in particular in Hollywood that she just keeps getting worse and worse and worse.
Mm-hmm.
I think me and you've talked about her before.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're all connected. So
We'll see. Deep, if you ask me. But I will always say this: the light will always be exposed. It can always expose the darkness. and the light is shining real bright right now. And I am just wanting answers for the victims, and my heart goes out to Kendra so much because she is
You better hide, girl.
wonderful. She's beautiful. She's the kind of kindness that I wish I had sometimes, you know? And so I just pray for her children and everyone involved that there will be answers and there will be justice.
Have you
Hi,
spoken to
Michelle.
Kendra?
I have not. I sent a text, a very polite, small text that just said, "I'm here for you. I love you, and I'm truly, you're in my prayers."
So was this before she was arrested?
I'm curious about that too, because I'm like, if she was arrested for the same charges, how is she feeling sorry for her?
Right. That's why I was saying, is this before?
This is a day ago. So yeah, I would be interested. Once it ends the interview, I'll look to see when this interview took place. But this was posted yesterday.
Yeah.
And it can't be that long ago because she's talking about his arrest. So yeah, I'm kind of interested as to why she feels sorry for her when she has the same charges.
Right.
Maybe that truth telling didn't break through every aspect yet.
Yeah.
This type of grief and this kind of loss, and if this is true, if this situation is true, I can't imagine her next steps, but the door is always open on my end for anyone that wants to have a heart-to-heart talk, and I will support them and be genuine about it. And you know, it's awful that this is round 2, it looks like.
What about your other family members and your cousins? Are there certain people that you are leaning on?
This is the latest case in the Duggar arrest.
Bonding together and banding
Joseph
together
Duggar is now arrested.
As support for each other as you guys all navigate this.
Well, I will have to say that boundaries are very important, and I have cut ties with a lot of my family because boundaries are so important for this exact reason.
Well, it sounds like that family don't have boundaries.
For me, I have not reached out to any family members except for Jill, and Jill and I have cried together, talked about it, you know, shared that moment together, and it just deeply is so hard to accept.
Jill, of course, is a victim herself. I mean, for her, how triggering is this for her? You mentioned you two cried together. I imagine wounds almost reopen in a moment like this.
I'm not going to speak for Jill, but I will say that I know that it probably is opening up just all kinds of emotions and all kinds of painful moments. You know, it's very hard to comprehend.
Yeah.
It's very hard to process it, I think, for all of us, if I can say that.
Yeah. What about Jessa? Are you in touch with her at all, or was that the boundary as well?
There will be no contact.
Josh had released actually a statement from jail per his attorney, and I want to read it to you and get your reaction. Per his attorney, Josh says he understands the stigma of being accused, and his attorney adds that Josh and Joseph are not in frequent communication, but Josh does hope and pray for his brother's well-being in this difficult time. What do you make of that statement? Your eyes are wide open right now.
My face, I cannot hide my emotions with my face. I will just say, if you ask me, and I'm just going to be flat out honest with you, I think that is absolutely a delusional state of mind. I think that toxic patterns have a way of showing up, especially because they don't believe in actual healing and actual therapy. So when abuse takes place, it just trickles down the line because hurt people hurt people. So you cannot tell me that Josh is in prison for no reason, and you cannot tell me that now Joseph is arrested for no reason.
What was Joseph like when all of the cameras weren't rolling?
I think that's really true too. I think most people don't like that saying that hurt people like hurt other people, but it's really true.
It's true.
Like,
it is true.
The point it is almost like nauseating. It is very true. You know what I mean? Like it's like if you think about how many times someone maybe wanted to talk about something you weren't ready about, and like, and I'm not saying it's just so much you, just like anybody in general. Like when they're not ready about it, that's usually the end of a relationship or the end of like a friend, you know, something. But like people panic, you know, when they're not ready to talk about it. I used to have a friend like that. Like she could have the most like intense kind of emotions feeling, but if you were to even try to talk about it, like she couldn't look at you, I mean, like you should start looking at the floor and at the ceiling, like everywhere but at you, you know what I mean? And like change the subject, and it's like it wasn't even that deep. So imagine.
Yeah.
Like it really
Yeah.
wasn't even that deep. So could you imagine the actual deep things this person was probably hiding? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And then as soon as you start to want to talk about it, oh, well, you're just emotional. You're too sensitive. You're too this. It's like, maybe you're nothing at all. Maybe you're not
Right.
emotional enough. Maybe you're too, like, like vacant and whatever, but I don't know. I just think that's interesting a little bit.
Yeah. And Michelle, I agree. But, the reporters do that a lot.
Yeah. I feel
They
like in
do
the Proudfoot ones, they did that a lot. There's that brunette lady who keeps talking about how she's from there and all this kind of stuff. I'll have to bring it eventually, but she feeds Katie a lot of lines and things to make them seem like
leads
they
them.
missed him.
Leads them. Yeah, I agree. I hate that. Just let them, like you said, just let them talk.
Yeah.
I mean, why are you afraid of what they're going to say? Is that why you don't do that?
Pretty much, yeah. Because they know they have nothing good to say. They've already done like a pre-run, they already know the PFs are full of shit. So they're like, well, what can we say to make it look like they care?
Yeah, we gotta code it with something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gotta make people want to follow along. So if a person has no shade of gray or lack of emotion, then there might be underlying issues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess it just depends on the person and what it is,
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see.
Off screen.
He wasn't. He actually was. I mean, just so funny. I can't even tell you. We've had so many inside jokes. He always helped. He always was like Mr. Fix It. He always just like hung out and was just so fun. He really was like he had the best personality. He was my favorite guy cousin out of all of them. Like Joe was like a teddy bear.
Then he
was like
hit it well.
The sweetest guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what makes me go like, wow, because I thought Josh was charming. I thought he was kind. I thought he was a good husband. I thought he, had all of these wonderful qualities. And it's exhausting to know and really hard to be like, did I even know the person that I spent so much time with?
Nope.
And now it's happening again. And so I'm not a victim, nothing like that, but it's just really hard to look at the news and realize the person that I thought I knew, maybe I didn't.
I'm always fine with my autocorrect. Always.
Portion of that statement too.
Oh my gosh, I have to check stuff I send.
It says Josh lives.
Oh yeah, all the time. If I do talk to speech, I still have to because I have such like a list from when I broke my jaw. Like my talk to text don't even know what I'm saying.
It'll send me stuff, and I'm like, that was not even what I said. Nowhere near close. Thank God I read that, because if I send this to somebody, they're gonna be like, "What? Yeah, what did you just say to me? What?
You having a stroke? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Are you okay? What are you talking about?" So yeah. No, I have to. And talking just doesn't work for me because, I guess it's the Southern, because they just say words that I'm like, what?
Yeah, the autocorrect don't work for me usually.
Yeah, I can't. It doesn't work.
Okay, well, we'll see what the rest. I don't remember what she just left off on, like shiny things. I don't remember.
She didn't say anything. Yeah.
No, okay. I feel like I forgot already.
No, it's because she didn't say nothing.
Life. And how the targeting of a person for publicity can twist the truth into sensationalized fiction.
That's what you're doing.
Wow. I would say, okay, well then why did Homeland Security have evidence against you? How many personalities possibly do you have?
Oh.
I would just say
personalities,
that's my opinion.
Yeah, here we go.
I'm about to put that in for a reason. Because literally,
there's probably multiple personalities, basically, is what she said. So then
they
were so abused, they have dissociated into different personalities, is what she just implied, is what I
can see that. I can see that.
Well, yeah, because you look at how they are on TV, and then to be, again, something of what they are behind closed doors, you have to have like a whole mask, a whole persona, and like be able to charm and all those things that she was saying. And she even thought the oldest one was the most charmingest one, and he was. Well, she's not even saying the worst one now. She hasn't said anything about anybody else, but she would say, that he wasn't even the worst.
Well, you have to put yourself out of that terrible place that you're being abused in and be somewhere else, so you don't feel it, or you're not trauma. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have to put yourself,
recognize your trauma that you got from it.
Yeah. So you put yourself in a different place. Well, I'll just put myself over here till it's over with.
Yeah.
You know, and that's it. And then bless your heart, now you have, two different personalities because you try to escape to one so you don't have to,
Get away from the other.
Yeah. Yeah. So I can totally see that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy though.
It is.
For her to say that split.
But she just said it. Yeah.
Yeah. She said it. She said
Yep.
his personalities. How many do you
right
got?
now? But at the same time, toxic patterns will continue. There will be more people. There will be more victims until this is stopped. And so literally, like, this is why I wrote this book. It is a tool for those that have been a part of toxic systems and cannot find their way out. This headline is not just for that sweet 9-year-old that was hurt. It's for anyone in this world that can look at that headline and say, me too. That's happened to me too. We have to break the cycle. And I'll be louder about it. I'm going to be loud about it.
You say you have a target on your back, yet you choose to use your voice and speak up. Why is that so important to you?
Because children are being used as a tool. People are being hurt all the time, left and right. There are lies that are told for no reason at all. I was the black sheep of the family for years for no reason at all. And it's for people that feel like, what did I do? I did nothing to these people. And yet I'm completely exiled from them. And so in those moments, I have to realize that it is a toxic family cycle, and I have to have my boundaries in place, because the truth, they don't want the truth. If the truth affects their image and affects, their main goal and their control that they can have over people, in my opinion, then they're not wanting anyone like that to speak out.
To be able to use your platform now to help others, and with what you do and with the book and all of that, the response that you have gotten, how does it make you feel?
Well, first off, when I wrote the book, I literally felt like I was all alone. I really felt like no one would understand anything that I went through, and that I'm writing this book in hopes that it would help someone, but I had no idea. And then after the book came out, I am overwhelmed by the amount of people that have reached out and said, this was my life too. This is stuff that, has gone down, and I am working through it and deconstructing. And, there is this stigma around people who are the black sheep of a family, and so to see everyone kind of band together, I have like my own community of people that trust me, trust my words, know that what I'm writing in the book is true, and that it can help lives. I think I want to use my platform to help lives. And, I've seen other statements that through this latest arrest, and the victims were not mentioned at all. And that breaks my heart, because they need to be seen. Their voice matters so much. And so for that little girl who was 9, it just breaks my heart that she had to be so bold and so courageous. But I am honored for her that she did it. I see her.
So this is interesting. Michelle, are you asking who the person is that we just we're just listening to?
Yes, this is their cousin. So she was on the Duggars show a lot. She used to come on there a lot, and she would be on there, and she just would pretty much almost be on every episode for lots of seasons. And then eventually, she disappeared. And that's kind of what she's saying. She was black sheeped or pushed out because she knew the truth. And basically, I don't know if she called it out at that time, but that's what I'm getting from her. Yeah, she always put it down or very much said this is an okay behavior. So,
and she wrote a book telling it. And so now she's, and she just said, I had to distance myself from the family because of boundaries. Well, it's obvious they don't have them.
Right.
That family doesn't have boundaries. So she would have to
do that.
Yeah, she would have to leave that family because they don't have boundaries. And if she stayed, it would just be toxic for her.
Yeah. And how much more too, like she saw and knew, you know what I mean? Because I feel like she was black sheep really before the book even came out.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting too, like, you know, the phrase even black sheep, because when you look at the phrase of like what people even get called black sheep, it sounds like it has like such a bad like stigma to it. But usually like black sheep are just the people who want to tell the truth, who don't want to be like conform, right?
Right.
So does that really make you a black sheep? Again, it just has a bad like
meaning.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they put it automatically to you've done something wrong in the family.
Yeah.
And not that you've distanced yourself because the family is doing
what
something
we've
wrong.
done.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just kind of find that interesting too. Over the longest, she kind of was always like, what's wrong with me? What did I do? What did I do? And she's saying she really didn't do anything other than just notice what they were doing wrong.
Right.
So I just thought that was kind of interesting too, how she brought that up.
She's writing it from their perspective, but she's never been mistreated, has she?
That's what she's saying. She says she never has. But I think it was buried because, like, from what I got to when I saw, and you know, I'm gonna see whose video that was, and if they don't mind if their videos were shared, because they were talking about her, you know, particular part of her book where she says that she wasn't allowed to stay at their house, like spend the night at their house. She wasn't allowed to wear a bathing suit or anything that would have shown anything at their house. So her parents very much knew what their brother or sister-in-law or whatever was, in my opinion, for her to be, very controlled even when she was there. So, I mean, I think it's interesting they let her go and be there so much on TV if they knew that what could have possibly, if there was SA going on in the house and that, you know, the family members were taking part in that. But I don't know. I just thought that was interesting too, a little bit.
Maybe they allowed her to be on there because they knew she would be on TV. And then once that episode was shot or her part, she would be leaving.
Maybe they thought things wouldn't happen too if somebody else was there that wasn't a part of that kind of behavior, and thought maybe they could expose it if it needed to be, but they don't walk the stereotypical. Not at all.
We could also see. Oh, we read that one already. From it just came in.
Again, if I don't see someone's comments, just let me know, because again, my comment section is doing the same thing as it did before. So there's some I see and some I don't.
I think we read it already.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to watch an interview with her and then maybe look more into a little bit of some of like her book and some of just the things that are in there, and to start kind of going through that too and just see what we see.
Yeah.
About her book and then what she exposed in that, because you just kind of wonder now how long that was going on too.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull up Josh Duggars.
She's saying the Duggar parents wouldn't let her wear anything. The girls couldn't wear pants or short things.
Right.
They couldn't wear short skirts or shorts or.
Yeah, wouldn't let them wear anything. The girls couldn't wear pants. Right. See, but I still think it's weird they couldn't wear pants, but they could wear skirts, knowing that these boys were probably, again, what they even gave an example of doing, sitting on a couch and taking advantage of them in the skirt,
right,
or something of that sort. So they made them wear skirts. So that's what I'm saying. I feel like the mom was probably encouraging some of the behavior, in my opinion, when you look at it that way. If because there's no way these people didn't know. Right. They were in charge of taking care of the other kids. So
you don't think Amy is the same religion?
No, I don't think she is.
Yeah.
I don't think she is. Jill also has a book. Okay. Well, now, was Jill the one that, because I know one, I don't know if it was Jill or, I always say I can't remember the other one, but I don't know. One of them was the one that kind of came out more against Josh. And I feel like it was Jill. Control factor. Yeah, control. Let's see though if I can. Interrogation video, but let's see. A search warrant.
I think they used religion to say that they could only wear skirts and
yeah, that's why. But when I look at it, I don't think that's why. I think they were using it for easier access in whatever situation they were in.
Yeah.
I just feel like that looking back at it. Let me see. Because I'm going to pull up Josh's almost, but there's so many things of Joseph right now. You almost can't even find nothing on Josh. Let's see. I wonder if this says anything. So I'm just going through a bunch of different clips. I can't see anybody's comments if they come in, so I apologize, y'all. I'm just trying to go through different.
I think that they use religion to hide a lot of stuff, and just in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. And now that's all coming out too. How a lot of, and like what we were talking about with the circumcisions earlier, the stuff I told you, I'm not gonna go too into detail with that, but that blew my mind when I heard what they were doing during them circumcisions. I cannot believe that. Those things should be banned too. Like you should be arrested on spot if you're doing that kind of stuff. Are you kidding? That's disgusting. And them circumcisions that they're holding.
It should be in a hospital, not allowed to be even done.
Not in an apartment. Yeah, not in someone's apartment with a bunch of people standing around in an unsanitary way with what I heard they were doing in them. That is absolutely horrible what they're doing for them circumcisions.
Oh, thank you, Michelle. Been in your chat a couple of times. Very laid back, so I subbed up, ladies. Very nice. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Let me see.
We try to be. We don't like a lot of drama stuff. We try to stay away from that.
Yeah, every now and then I'll get like a little, frisky at us or something.
Yeah,
but
but we don't do the other kind of drama.
No.
There's always drama with true crime. You can't get past drama.
Yeah, there's always something you can find here.
Yeah, it's just drama in the situation itself. But yeah.
Here, I want to see what this is showing where he just spoke out. Josh, I'm gonna pull this up real quick. Oh, I swear this internet's gonna make me lose my mind one day. It really is.
We have dramatic outbursts like that, though, Michelle. we get mad at the internet, StreamYard.
Yeah, I have my most delirious outburst late at night, though, when we have our late night Watts Island.
Yeah, which will be today. It won't be late night, but it'll be today.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna pull this one up real quick, just because I'm curious what they're gonna say about what Josh says to Joseph.
It is disgusting. I just can't. I can't even see you doing that to another child, much less your own. I just can't.
Yeah. Okay. Add to stage. Here we go. Okay.
19 kids and counting alum Joseph Duggar has been arrested on child molestation charges. And now his older brother, Josh Duggar, is speaking out from behind bars. The convicted sex offender released this statement through his lawyer via the Daily Mail. Josh lives with the painful reality of how false accusations can destroy a life. He understands how the targeting of a person for publicity can twist the truth into sensationalized fiction. Josh, who is now 38, added that he's deeply saddened by the charges and can relate to the stigma of being accused. In 2015, the devout Baptist family's TLC show was canceled after a 2006 police report became public, detailing disturbing claims. The eldest brother of the reality TV family had been accused of molesting several minors, including his sisters, when he was a teenager. Josh was 14 or 15 at the time, and his sisters were ages 5 to 11.
And what's wrong with him in this mugshot?
Michelle
He looks like
and
really
Jim
happy.
Bob Duggar later admitted on Fox News that 4 of the 5 girls Josh allegedly molested were indeed his siblings. Josh was never charged over those accusations. However, years later, he was found guilty of child pornography possession. Prosecutors said he downloaded 600 photographs and 7 videos.
How is that being falsely accused when that
abuse.
stuff is there?
He's currently serving a 12-year sentence at a low-security federal prison in Texas, with an expected release in 2032.
So creepy.
Josh's statement from behind bars comes just 2 days after his younger brother, Joe Duggar, was booked in Arkansas. The 31-year-old father of 4 was charged with lewd and lascivious behavior involving unlawful
He admitted
sexual
to it, though, like right
with a
away.
minor.
The
He's
other one
awaiting
denies it.
extradition to Florida.
This one?
This stems from a 2020 incident during a family vacation to Panama.
Yeah, this one and her admitted it pretty much right off the bat, and Josh denies everything. So like he even said, falsely accused, but he's sitting in prison for all of this CP that was on his computer. But and him saying, "Well, I know what it feels like to be falsely accused." No, sir, that was your dealership, your computer, your router, your stuff, your accounts. Yeah, and so
like a narcissist.
This one right here. Yeah, a true narcissist. Take it to the grave, right? Never lie.
Yeah.
Like Tara, lie till you die.
According to the now 14-year-old victim's forensic interview, Joe repeatedly asked her to sit on his lap, and under a blanket on a couch, he allegedly rubbed her thighs and, quote, manipulated the victim's underwear and grazed her genitals. She was 9 at the time. The accused, Joe, and his wife Kendra have 4 young children, Garrett, 7, Addison, 6, Brooklyn, 5, and the youngest Justice was born in 2022. A family spokesperson told Page
Justice,
6
really?
the Duggars do not have a
Mhm.
statement at this time.
Of course they don't.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna stop sharing that one. See if I can find because there was one.
And the fact that his lawyer let him put it out there. I know what it's like being falsely accused. You're in jail, dude. You're in prison.
I guarantee you they probably told him to shut up and don't say anything, and he's probably like, "Well, like you can't tell me what to do. I'm innocent, just like everybody else here."
And everybody's laughing like, okay, that's why you're in prison.
Exactly, he's innocent just
Because
like
you
everybody
are
else in prison.
innocent. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, but from what I heard, this Joseph though didn't put much of a fight about it. He just said straight up, yeah, he did it. He didn't fight about it or nothing, where the other one has. But let me see. I feel like there was one more I wanted to look at as far as their interviews, but I'm not.
Michelle said, I love true crime since was a child living in the area of a real life serial. I can't talk. As young kid and adult, want to keep brain exercise by healthy debates and fun way. Absolutely. Yep.
And I think it's great because it is always a debate. Everybody always has like a different, I think, even for the most part, like, I don't think like we disagree on a lot of the Watt stuff, but I think we still have both different routes we kind of go down. Same thing with Sebastian. Same thing with Summer. I feel like I still like, but I mean, I still like, I can see your side of it and be like, yeah, I get why she thinks, you know what I mean? I think you can see some of mine and see why I think that too, so it's nice. Yeah. It keeps your brain healthy and moving.
Yep.
Attend a church reform thing for doing that to his sisters. That was prior to, okay. Yeah. So wasn't he supposed to be like a minister too? Like becoming a minister?
Oh God.
I think Josh, that's what he was also doing. Like he was supposed to be, like, I don't know if his dad was one, but I feel like his dad was too.
Well, I know they said they have they're a Baptist religion, but I'm in the South and I don't know any Baptist religion that will not allow you to wear pants.
I think they just say that because of the stigma that religion has.
There's 2 other religions that will not allow that, but Baptist, I've never
I don't know much. I'm in the South too, and I don't really know any Baptists. I mean, I'm sure there is some down me, but we're mainly like Christians and Catholics around where I'm at.
Yeah,
much. We don't really have much of anything else.
I have quite a few. I mean, there's quite a few Baptist churches around my area, and none of them are like that. They all wear pants. And now there's 2 other religions that don't allow that are around here, but I mean, they're not Baptist.
Isn't that what they were on Footloose though, when they couldn't dance and wear certain things? Wasn't it? Was it Baptist? I don't remember.
I don't know.
Footloose. They couldn't sing and they couldn't dance, and everything was the devil.
I can't. I don't know. Now they may say you can't sing and dance, but I've never heard the Baptists go as far as no pants.
You cannot wear pants.
You cannot wear pants. No pants. You're not allowed
pants. Pantsless party over here, man.
You cannot wear the pantalones because we cannot. No pantalones.
No pants party. Sorry.
No.
You're not invited.
You got to wear a skirt like Marilyn Monroe. So if it gets blown up, everybody sees your business. There you go.
Yeah, BTK. That was an interesting one. And even when he finally did, when you saw it, he was telling pretty much the judge everything he did. I thought that was pretty interesting to watch.
Yeah.
No emotion, no anything, just very matter of fact.
Yep. Just like it was a job he completed or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's like he wanted to. He was very proud to finally be able to say, I did it. You know what I mean? Like, damn, it's been taking y'all forever to figure out it was me. I just finally had to tell y'all. Like,
if I didn't go tattle on myself, you wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was an interesting one. I liked watching that.
Yeah, see, I don't know what Baptist they're talking about, but maybe there's one I don't know about.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, we had there's like a one Baptist church around the corner from here, and I don't know anybody who is Baptist. I said I'm Catholic, and then I'm sure there's Christians again, but mainly everybody where I'm at's Catholic.
Well, I have several cousins that are Baptist, and they all wear pants and shorts and put makeup on and
yeah. I mean, the ones I do know of, I don't know any like specific
yeah.
So let's see. Oh yeah, so I was looking for Josh stuff. Sorry, distracted.
Squirrels.
Yeah. Okay. So tonight we're talking about Watts again, right? Watts Island.
Yes.
We're going to finish the back rub while I'm looking for this stuff.
We are the back rub. We're going to do some back rubbing. We're going to see some more of her wonderful striped jacket that she has on, rubbing Chris's back. And then we're going to move out of that.
To the phone thing, right?
See how far that video goes. Yep. And then we're going to spend we're going to go out of that video. We may not finish it, but we are going to go out of that video and look at, Megan has found a video of NK's phone pings. Mm-hmm. And if I know a lot of people, some people are half and half on, they don't think she was there. I personally think she was there. Right. So this will kind of might change your mind on her being there. It may not.
Yeah. If I had doubt about it before, I think it would have wiped that away.
Yeah. And I've heard this is a very good video. So it's mapped and everything. So we are going to go through that. We will also put in chat whose video it is so they get credit because they did. They worked hard on it. So that's going to be interesting. So we're going to do that tonight on Watts Island. Get your ticket.
Yeah.
Get ready.
I'm going to be leaving without you if you don't show up.
Train to the boat.
God.
Yep.
So I'm not really finding the one I want to find on Josh because everything is popping up too much for Joseph right now. So I'm trying to find like the original one. The only other thing I saw, and this is kind of going off topic, did you see also where the Nancy Guthrie case took a tragic turn again a day ago?
I did not. I did not.
All right, I was just curious if anybody else saw that tragic turn. Did you, Tara?
What is the tragic turn? Because
I was going to pull it up.
I think we have done so many turns that we are off the map.
Well, it's about a 19-minute tragic turn if you want to just see what that is real quick, and then we'll head out and get ready for the Watts Island train. So I just was curious what this was all about, the newest tragic turn. Mm-hmm. So let's see.
I just found the Duggars are devout independent Baptists who follow a strict conservative Christian lifestyle with that is their own thing they made up.
Yeah, that's made up completely.
I have never heard of an independent Baptist. It kind of feels like they took parts of religion that they liked.
This is just put together.
Opinion. Yes, and they put it together to form that. Yeah. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Only.
I agree. I think they just took the parts of the religions that they felt they could get away with whatever they were trying to get away with.
And mixed them together.
So here we go. So now... Okay, so there's TMZ one, and that one's saying it's tragic turn, and now it's saying that, I guess we'll just watch this one first, of Savannah, again, calling for renewed attention after she just basically told everybody in the last one that she's probably alive or probably not, but either way, here's some money for a couple of foundations, and thanks for coming.
Oh, my goodness.
So that was the last one I remember of Savannah doing was when she, donated the money and she was just like thanking people for, looking for her mom and, they were hoping she was still alive, but she probably wasn't is what they were thinking. And, she wasn't going to go back to the show, but then she was. So I want to see why she's asking for renewed attention. And then I just want to see what TMZ put out because TMZ is just full of crap all the time. So
is she back on the show?
I believe she is. Yeah. Which she wasn't supposed to go back. So I want to see what her renewed questions for, but I heard she went back. I'm pretty sure she did.
Yeah.
So let me see. I'm pull this up. There we go. I was like, why am I not? I'm sorry. I'm still trying to do it. Like I told Tammy, I've been off of it for 2 days and I've already forgot how to find
it's weird. It's if y'all never been if you've never had StreamYard or something, it's weird. It's like you can be off of it for 3 days and you go back and it's like, oh my God, what do I do? It's weird. It's
like they are always changing stuff. I mean, they are.
Yeah, it's like a StreamYard twilight zone you get into. It's weird.
Yeah, because then you get into a pattern and a routine of how you use it, and then they change it, and it's like, well,
yeah. And then they give you the survey, this long survey before they'll. Yeah, before you can even start a stream, you got to go through like 10 questions. So don't be late because then you're going to be late because you got to answer all these questions before they'll even let you go live. It's crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see what she's asking for, and then I'll see what TMZ is asking for.
Savannah
Well,
Guthrie
cameras
is
work
asking for the
wonders.
public's help as the search for her mom, Nancy Guthrie, enters its 7th week after she was abducted from her home in Tucson, Arizona. Savannah's family shares a plea to keep the situation top of mind, with them saying in a statement to a local news outlet in Tucson, "We are deeply grateful for the outpouring from neighbors, friends, and the people of Tucson. We continue to believe it is Tucsons and the greater Southern Arizona community that hold the key to finding resolution in this case." The statement adds, "Please consult camera footage, journal notes, text messages, observations, or conversations that in retrospect may hold significance. No detail is too small. It may be the key." Nancy was reported missing February 1st after a concerned friend alerted her loved ones that she didn't show up for a church service that morning. Police confirmed to Today. And following their initial investigation, authorities confirmed they believe she was abducted from her home, which was supported by security camera footage of a masked individual approaching her house. And as the search for Nancy continues, her family asked for the public to focus on any information they may have. The statement continues, "Someone knows something. It's possible a member of this community has information that they do not even realize is significant." Adding, "We miss our mom with every breath, and we cannot be in peace until she is home."
I guess that's it for that. So yeah, again, nothing new there, just the same kind of reiteration of what they already kind of asked. But like, I feel like that's even the first time that they, and I could be wrong, I feel like that's the first time she even asked for more details on people's cameras and kind of is going with that route too. I don't know. Maybe she did ask that already, but so I don't know. I didn't see anything different in that. Did you?
No, I don't know what tragic turn it is.
I don't either. That's what I'm trying to figure out. They're always saying something, and here's the tragic turn.
Clickbait.
So,
clickbait. Click.
But why are we still doing it? 7 weeks since. Okay, I'm sorry that she's gone, but okay, we're on 2 years now that Sebastian's been gone. How many years that Summer's been gone?
Yeah.
Well,
here's the thing. If, and I think it was an inside job, my opinion only.
Right.
She has the medication she needs, and to survive.
Yeah.
And she also has a pacemaker.
Yeah.
So if it's not an inside job, there's no way she's surviving without her medicine and being her pacemaker being, I mean, like I kind of feel like in 6 months we might hear something, because I just feel like there's a 6-month thing with her going missing.
Yeah.
So they're either going to have to bring her back for that pacemaker to be checked, or they've got some inside stuff going on.
Or she's gonna have to be that she's not coming back. You know, that's what I'm saying. Like, they're gonna say something of where you're like, whether she's, don't expect it anymore. That's why I thought it's interesting that she came out and said that again.
Yeah.
Wanted renewed looks and stuff, because when she gave the last interview, it kind of seemed like she was asking it to be put to bed a little bit.
Yeah.
Other than just like thanking people to look. And, of course, if you see, you still say it. But she's asking for more help in this one than she was in the last one.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm like, I mean, with her health, and she can't physically get around well. So there's that also.
Yeah. And I just think that they waited around. It never try to give any of the ransom. You never heard anything about it. They would just switch to a new ransom. And so that was just constantly changing.
And what happened with Bitcoin? Did that just go away?
Yeah, because then a new ransom would pop up.
Right. So.
And then they wouldn't even talk about the other one anymore.
So now there's no ransom anymore. They don't want money now. So what's the point of keeping her?
What was the point of taking her in the first place?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. But if you're gonna keep her and you want money, and then all of a sudden now you're not sending a ransom note, well, then what do you got her for?
Yeah. And why are they so sure that she's still alive too? If she had medicine and all those things. So yeah. And they know somebody knows something. Well, of course, you know what I mean? This lady didn't take off on her own, but I think it's you who knows.
I mean, that's an open-ended question. You're trying to put it out there like, I know somebody knows something. Well, yeah. And you're trying to make it like it's y'all aren't the somebody.
Right. Yeah. And the kidnapping theory didn't work. Yeah. Kidnappers would need her healthy, and they wouldn't take someone who's hard to keep, healthy or moving around. That would just be totally inconvenient.
Right.
So they wouldn't have taken somebody like that, in my opinion. So again, it was a whole stage thing. But I'm going to play this though real quick to see what the the tragic turn is here, because it has a question mark on their own video. So this is how you know it's clickbait too. Nancy Guthrie case takes a tragic turn. ... question mark TMZ. Well,
yeah,
it did or
see,
didn't TMZ. Like,
her coming out
yeah,
and
so let's
speaking is,
see.
that's not a tragic turn. Is they found her and she's not alive. That's a tragic turn,
Right.
in my opinion.
The tragic turn is Savannah said something again and probably wasn't supposed to. So damn, now we're talking about it again. It's tragic.
Yeah, I
Let's
can't
see what he
stand
said.
TMZ. I
Blood
can't
looked
stand.
like
Yeah.
inside the house. I went out and visited the house. I was actually out in Tucson. The blood stops at the end of that walkway.
Today, I am joined by Morgan Wright, who is a former detective and is currently the CEO of the National Center for Open and Unsolved Cases. Today, he is here to talk to us about the Nancy Guthrie case. Mr. Wright, thank you so much for joining me.
Hey, just call me Morgan, Jackson. I appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
Of course. Well, just to get into this, look, it has been over a month and a half since Nancy
already?
Guthrie originally went missing.
Who is
and I
this
think
dude?
the main question on
TMZ
everybody's mind
staffer?
right now
Yeah. Okay.
is,
He
it
looks
seems
young.
like the person that did this is getting away
Yeah.
with it. How, after 7 weeks, do we not have a
Does
person?
his face almost not look like the face in the mask a little? Like the
He
lips and the eyes? Was he the
He
one in
look-
the mask? I think we found him, Tammy. Here we go. We just cracked the case.
Yeah, he's got bushy
TMZ.
eyebrows too. He's
Yeah,
got
kinda
bushy
looks like the
eyebrows.
guy. Mhm.
Yeah.
A little young. Nice,
Yeah,
plump, young.
Yeah,
of interest
yeah.
or a suspect, and at the very least, somebody connected to the case in custody.
You know, Jackson,
it was a girl
that's
because the lips
the
were so full at
silver
first.
bullet question. I mean, if we can answer that, that's
I
the one
did. I thought
everybody
it was a
wants to
girl
know.
at
I would
first
tell
because
you
the
that
lips
Ted
were so full.
Kaczynski,
He
the
looks
Unabomber,
12.
got away with his crimes for
Everyone
years.
looks like the mask.
Gary Ridgway, the Green River Killer,
Love you
got
too.
away with his crimes for years, and yet he was kidnapping women, vulnerable women, off the streets of Seattle in plain view of the police and doing this. So it is not that unlikely to think that somebody could get away with this, but it all boils down to kind of what you and I were talking at the beginning. It really determines how easy it's going to be to find this person is to make sure we have the crime correct. And I don't think we really know what the crime is. Either the crime was a burglary that went wrong, or it
Nope.
was never a burglary. And that's
Right.
going to determine the type of people you look for, the type of suspects, different skill sets, if you follow what I'm saying. But if I'm looking for a burglar in my days when I was doing the work, when I'm looking for a burglar, we knew people that did burglary. We knew what kind of skills they did. We know what kind of things they do, where they hung out, what their tool set would
Exactly.
look like, what type of actions they would take before. People
How
are
many
creatures of
burglars
habit.
use plant?
People behave
In
the
other words,
same.
they know.
The-
They
the-
know
the
it's not a
9/11
burglar.
hijackers, the
They know
7/7/05 train bombings, Lashkar-e-Taiba, the attackers in Mumbai. Everybody, even terrorists, follow what we call the terrorism planning cycle. So when I look at this, the first thing we have to come to terms with, was it a burglary gone wrong, or was it never a burglary? And then to your point, Jack, and once we start addressing
Right.
that the way we should, that'll start telling us what kind of person should we be looking for, because somebody who does targeted kidnappings and targeted abductions is a different skill set and a different methodology
I've
and a different
always
tradecraft
said.
than
Yep.
somebody who's only there to commit burglary.
Yeah,
Yep.
and this guy that came, or
Mhm.
whoever was there is no way this person knew what they were doing or was some kind of hired hitman or something. He was using plants off the own property. Like, I don't know what
Yeah.
kind of gloves those were. He had like a light in his mouth. Like, so
Yeah.
there's like numerous things where it just didn't shout professional.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. I'm like, this is not somebody that has done this before or often, because if it had been a professional person, they wouldn't have left blood drops. They wouldn't have been caught on camera. It would be.
And not looking so goofy too on top of it. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
came so unprepared that I'm going to
Mhm.
just start pulling plants out of the planter boxes and shove them
Yeah.
over the camera. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it
Yeah.
just, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And that's the other thing. The person who did it had to know they had all the time in the world. This video was
Yeah.
going to be altered so they didn't have to worry about how stupid they looked. You know what I
Right.
mean? So that's what I'm just saying. Like, this person just looked totally out of
What-
like their zone, didn't know what they were doing, like just pulling plants. Like, again, it's like they knew this video was going to be edited to their benefit.
And
That's
they
how
knew,
it is.
and they wasn't in a hurry. Like, if you're going in to kidnap somebody or burglarize the house, you're going to go in and out. You're not going to hang around. I mean, if you're worried about the camera, you're going to put tape over it, or you're going to hit it with something and knock
Yeah.
it off. You're not
And
going to
someone
screw
who's,
around
like,
with it.
No, and not someone who's like semi, I guess you could say. Like, I don't know if
Yeah.
I would say she's like high profile, but I mean, technically that's what they want you to think. They want you to think that she was because of who her
Mhm.
daughter was. So let's just say she was. Again,
Mhm.
why would the person hired be so like unexperienced?
Yeah, because again, in my opinion, allegedly on my channel, I think it is an inside job.
I do too. And that's why I think they keep telling you what you should think and what you should feel, because they want to prepare you for what you already should be thinking and feeling for when they plant that information later on.
And they already know if it's what kind of crime it is. They're just not saying. They have to already know.
Yeah, at this point.
I mean, we're in it, 8 weeks, and they didn't steal anything. And that it's probably not a kidnapping because now all of a sudden they don't want money.
Yeah.
I mean,
they don't really seem to want anything other than just TMZ's attention. And that's what I'm saying. So you have to look at why would that be? And the only thing that happened on the heels of was the Epstein release. And then you find out Savannah's husband's in it. So again, I still go back to, I feel like that has something to do with it. And I'll keep my tinfoil hat on for that one. Cause
it's, and it's just, I don't, okay. Let's all just, it's like a dog chasing their tail in a circle and a circle and a circle. That's what it's like. That's what they're doing.
And they want you to keep doing it. And then if you say anything other than that and you don't keep doing it, then like you're just crazy and you're just, again, that conspiracy theorist, or you're just trying to cause problems that aren't there or look for something that's not there. But it's like, we're not the ones that keep giving out like
dummy
bullshit information. Yeah, like left and right. So.
And somebody said on Facebook that they put on Facebook that the sheriff was in trouble.
Yeah,
well,
I meant to say that.
Be. I mean, dang.
Yeah, and they showed him driving around in some like really expensive car now. I don't know, and people are trying to say, when did he get that car? It's a really nice, fancy sports car. And then he's at the gym, and again, nothing wrong with going to the gym. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like they were adding all these things up together, and they were saying like, yeah, he's in this really nice, expensive, fancy looking sports car now.
And where does he live? Is his house that way too?
Yeah. So that's that's a reading I need to do. Someone had asked me to do a reading. Someone named Emma for I think it's Nanos is his name, Sheriff Nanos or something like that.
Oh,
so I need to do I need to do a reading though on that one. So I might be having that come out soon too, if anybody's interested in a tarot reading on that. But someone asked me for a tarot reading for the sheriff to see what's really going on with that person.
Very good.
I might do that.
Yeah. It's a vet, a Corvette, figures.
I think so. Yeah, it's white.
Midlife crisis. You're past
pretty
that,
much.
Dude. I think he's past that.
Oh yeah, way past it.
Yeah,
that's what I said. He looks like Casey Anthony's dad and like the sheriff from I can't think of what movie it was, but like some scary teen movie, like all combined in one. Again, just some character, that's been thrown in front of us because he's so goofy looking that you're gonna just be like, oh, well, I just feel like I'm in a movie because it just seems so unreal, So it knocks you out of reality for a bit. I feel, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you think you're looking at Casey Anthony's dad, and like some kind of Scream episode or something. Like I don't know.
And I do feel like money is the reality behind it, but I don't think it's like ransom money. I don't think it's for ransom money. I think it has something to do with something else.
It's like image. I think you're still looking at too, and it connects with money. Image.
Yeah.
Money would have been what drove it, but I feel like it's all about reputation and image, and money always lies at the root of that.
Yeah.
So let me see. Bumbling distraction out of it. Yeah.
The sheriff did say at the beginning the back door was open. Of course. How convenient is that?
And that's what I think it is. Yep. Okay. So let's see what this guy has to do. Because again, I feel like, who is this kid? Like why is he?
The driver's license. I'm just saying.
Are you old enough to drive, sir?
I had a former FBI special agent on, Jen Coffindaffer, a couple weeks ago, who gave us a play-by-play of how the criminals that did this entered the house and the kind of methodology they used. It seemed that she was intimating that more than one person was involved, that this was not a burglary gone wrong, and that there was even perhaps entry from the back door. You've clearly studied this case extensively. And what I'm wondering is, can you give us your own play-by-play with the information at hand of what you think happened?
Yeah, Jackson, good question, because that's what everything starts from, right? The house is the event generator. So the first thing we have to understand, was it a burglary that got wrong, or was it never a burglary? And then when I'm looking at this, if I'm showing up to the scene, then I look for a burglary. If it's a burglary that's gone wrong, then the biggest question you have to ask, because remember, humans don't behave better under stress. They behave worse under stress. You shoot worse, you drive worse. You run worse. When you think about this, somebody who enters a house whose intention was burglary, their intention was theft. What conditions had to exist inside the house for a burglar to think that kidnapping somebody and taking them out of the house was less risky than just fleeing? In so many cases, I will tell you, I never had a case. There was sometimes violence, but I never had a case in a burglary to where somebody kidnapped the person, even though it's at night. They thought the house, even if they broke into the house knowing the homeowner was in there, they didn't want the confrontation. That's why they break in at night. That's why they break in while people are asleep. That's why they try and find an unlocked door, because an unlocked door is easier to get into than breaking out the glass. I look at that and I say, what are the indicators that would tell you that it was a burglary gone wrong? Well, then you'd have to look at signals of theft. Were items staged inside the house to be taken? We know that the offender, we can see the video, had a backpack, typical what burglars do, want to keep their hands free. They use the bite light, again, keep their hands free. Same thing for auto burglars. They're basically set the same way. One's breaking into a car, one's breaking into a house. So I would look for what signals existed inside the house to tell me that this was a burglary gone wrong. Then you would have to show me, then why would that offender think that taking a body and increasing my risk, because then this does lead into, at some point there is, I believe, a second person involved, and I'll get to that on my other side of the binary question. Oh, and here's one other thing, Jackson, a lot of people aren't talking about. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to think about this, because a lot of people don't think through the whole thing. When I ask you, like, how do you get out of bed in the morning? It sounds like a weird question, but trust me, it's going to lead somewhere. How do you get out of bed in the morning?
Well, to that I'd say I'd pull the blanket off of me and I'd put my feet on the ground. I'd kind of sit on the bed for a second before standing up.
Right.
That's exactly right. That's what people do. A lot of say, I get out of bed, I take the blanket. Now let's assume it's 2 o'clock in the morning. You're in a house all by yourself and somebody decides that they want to abduct you. They're going to reach in and grab you out of your bed. Do you think the blanket and everything's going to be folded back the same way?
No.
What we're looking for are indicators. What does even the bedroom look like? Does the bed show indications that she got up and out of bed and had a confrontation with somebody, or was she taken from her bed? So that gets into, was it a targeted abduction? Then with the targeted abduction, again, you look for three things: entry, forced, consensual, or pre-staged. In this case, we know it was not pre-staged because we see the offender on the outside of the home. Then the question becomes, was it forced or consensual? Chances are she wouldn't open the door at 2 o'clock in the morning. I mean, that's human behavior. So what I've seen much of the drone video that flies around, there's no indications that there was forced entry. But here's the thing. She's 84 years old, lives in an area where very little crime, if any. Look, I'm pretty security conscious. I left my garage door open all night. And it's like, man, I forgot I did that. Is it unrealistic to think that an 84-year-old woman who just gets into a habit, thinks that her doors are locked, may have left the door open? That would facilitate an entry into the home to make it easy. But that standpoint, to finish the other part of the binary, if they got into the home and it was a targeted abduction, I used to tell our teams a lot of times, especially our tactical teams, don't kick down the door. See if the door's open first. Why kick down the door when it's already unlocked? We don't need to do that. So they could have gotten in that way if it was a target.
I didn't know the back door was unlocked, though.
Then what we have is an 84-year-old woman, cardiac compromise, and waking up violently at 2 o'clock in the morning.
I don't know if he means open as in wide.
Like it wasn't like pushed open aggressively the way they made it sound, though. Like it would have just been unlocked and yeah. So I mean, that makes you wonder: was she prone to leave her doors unlocked? Because I don't think at 84 you would have started. I mean, I'll be almost asleep in my bed and I'll go out to the garage to check if the back doors. I mean, I could be half asleep and I'm like, oh, did I lock the back door? And I'll go out there just to check. So I just don't see someone at 84. Not saying you can never do that, but again, what are on the chances of the night she went missing?
And that could have been too, if somebody had a key, they could have took her out the back door, and in their haste, they left it open to help look like she was taken out the back door, which she probably was taken out the back door.
Yeah, and okay, is that why there's supposed to be no footage of her on camera too? Because why is there just footage of this person on camera, but not her? I never...
Yeah.
Is that supposed to be what the theory is, that she went out the back door and there's no camera back there?
That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, because where's the theory to that? They want to tell you about everything else, even down to the damn plants, but they don't want to tell you about why the back door was open and if they think she was brought out it or not.
And maybe
I think that's a bit weird.
You know, at the beginning, the sheriff said a lot, and then they got mad at him for saying a lot. So
that's why I'm interested to do the reading a bit on him, to see what is he really in on this too, or is he getting like used as kind of like a tactic of like, you're just like, let's just point it at him and say he just fucked everything up.
Well, it kind of sounds like, he wasn't in it in the beginning, and then he said things he shouldn't have said, and now they've had to his role is something different now.
Yeah, I want to go back and watch his I guess press conferences from the very beginning, because I'd be interested to see, now that I've asked been to do like a reading just for him. I'm curious with just him.
Because there's one he does afterwards, after he does the main one where he says a lot. And then he comes on the next one and he kind of retracts what he said. You can kind of tell he's a little aggravated. Like he's a little hostile. So it's like, did you get in trouble for saying too much, or you know what? Why are you?
Yeah, it did seem like he got in trouble for something. I agree.
Yeah.
It does seem like he said something he wasn't supposed to say, but I'm just curious along what did he say? That's why I want to go back and watch that first one. I didn't watch the first one. I watched where he was aggravated.
Right. Yeah.
And then embarrassed or whatever, I guess you could say it is. But I'm going to take a break for just 1 second. I'll be back in just 1 minute.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to look at the comments if I missed any.
Yeah. Hi, chicken lady. You didn't miss the notification. Me and Megan just decided, just like yesterday, hey, we're going to go live around 12, and then I'm going to go live. It's probably going to be looking more like 5 o'clock, so that we can Megan can get stuff done around the house before she joins me. So it's probably going to be 5 o'clock, but we are going to go to Watts Island and watch some more back rubbing. We might learn something from rubbing backs. So we are going to go that direction, but you probably didn't get it because we didn't really give one, but I do plan to give one for, as soon as we get off here, I'm going to put the time on there and then put it out for, tonight. Oh, hey, Chief Wisdom. Hello. I thought the air felt different. I figured you had sent something my way. So welcome. Welcome, Chief. I swear every time I give that sheriff a benefit, I know he does something else stupid. I know.
What was that about? So
Chicken Lady said, I swear every time I give the sheriff a benefit of a doubt, he has something else. He does something else stupid.
Yeah, that's why I'm interested to kind of go look at him myself and see like what I think of him independently, because everybody talks about how stupid he is, and that's all I ever really see. Yeah. So I'm curious. I mean, which I'm sure he is. He's probably saying a lot of stupid things for people to say that, but I am curious what it is.
Well, he says he tries to when he's backtracking, he's like, "Well, I've never done this before. This has never happened before.
No.
We've never." Yeah, I was like, "No, you didn't.
You're not supposed to say that.
You're not supposed to say.
I haven't done it before either, and I know you shouldn't say that."
I was like, "Oh no, it might not have been exactly like that, but it was something along those lines.
Yeah.
This has never happened before. I've never been put in a situation before, or something where I've had to talk, and I was like, stop, just keep."
I've never had to do my job before.
You're falling down a hole. Yeah, you're down the rabbit hole. It's too late now. So now everybody knows.
Yeah, that you don't know what you're doing.
Right. You may not, but don't tell people. I mean, you're old enough you should have went through something that would have
even
helped
that, you should be old enough too. Again, to like, no, you probably shouldn't say that either. Then if you don't know, it's better just to like fake it till you make it. I guess just pretend that you know what's happening. I don't know. I mean, of course you want the person to know, but if you definitely don't want them being like, well, I'm not confident in myself, you guys. I'm sorry.
Right. He said in one interview that he's not searching. He said he had a team that does that. All right, then.
It's kind of like Craddock always saying stupid stuff.
You like to sit and point and go do. You don't do boots on the ground. That's what that means to me.
He's a micromanager. He just sits back and tells everybody what to do, but doesn't know how to do it at all himself.
Right.
The best ones, the ones that always end up in manager positions, because that's about all they know how to do is point and tell you what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And do a damn thing themselves.
Hi, Running Gray Wolf. Nice to see you. Nice to see you.
Yeah, I didn't have it set up, the link.
Because
I didn't know what I was even doing it completely on yet. And then I was like, well, let's check out the Duggars. And then I saw, this breaking tragic turn, and yet haven't seen the tragic turn other than just someone's opinion. But good opinion, I guess. First person who seemed to somewhat say it sounds like bullshit. So I guess we'll finish listening to what he's saying about it. But
yeah. So
here we go.
It looks like he had been a state trooper before.
Yeah.
Behind him, it looks like. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He got that haircut.
Blood. The question is, what does the blood look like inside the house? Is it a blood trail, which then leads you can reasonably infer that there's a second person because there's no pooling of blood. That person is not laying there. So there has to be then somebody that you call, because we know the blood. And I went out and visited the house. I was actually out in Tucson. I took a look on the ground.
Oh, really?
Blood stops at the end of that walkway. You come down a set of steps, come out to the driveway. It ends right there. So it seems likely that this is a targeted abduction because How unlikely is it? We know from the timeline at 2:12 was when there was a motion inside the house, is what they're saying, according to the sheriff's timeline. 2:28, her pacemaker did not ping. So we have a 16-minute window. In 16 minutes, somebody who was there to commit burglary instead decides I'm going to kidnap somebody and now has to arrange all of the infrastructure, the transportation, the logistics, get somebody to come over. That becomes less tenuous. If the only thing supporting that pillar is narrative, once you take the narrative away, does that structural beam still stand? No. So over time, I started with the binary. I'm leading more and more towards it's a targeted abduction that went wrong.
And when you say went wrong, what are the plethora of things? If you could give us an example.
Oh, geez, dude, you got all day?
I mean, clearly, like you said, she had pre-existing health issues, right? So it could have been respiratory failure, heart failure. You know, or maybe it was something that the abductors did to her. What goes through your mind when you think this could have gone wrong?
What we know for a fact is that it's Nancy Guthrie's blood. We don't know how the blood got there. We don't know the mechanism of injury. So we don't know, did she cut herself on the way out of the bedroom? Was she assaulted? But in any event, you have an 84-year-old woman with a cardiac condition, woken up, I would say, violently at 2 o'clock in the morning, taken from her home. So there's control on the other side. So when I look at that, here's my concern. I know a lot of people that, and trust, I get that everybody says, well, we hope she's still alive. They acted as though it's a missing person. But at some point, I started saying the quiet part out loud because it informs how you do your investigation. It informs what the public thinks. In fact, with you guys, you're reporting on it. What the public is told is the way they perceive the case. There's things you go through. You go through things that are known. You go through things that are inferred. You go through things that are assumed, right? We have to be, and then amplified. The media amplifies. We take what is known, then we infer something, then we assume it's true, and then the media amplifies it. If the media, and not saying that they're doing it intentionally, but if you amplify something that's incorrect, now I'm looking for a missing person. What I said was we should start treating this as a no-body homicide because that changes your search tactics. That changes what you communicate to the public.
That's what
I have no information other than just experience, but just reasoning it out to say that the reason that we haven't caught anybody, it's because these two actors, if Nancy died within a short amount of time of when she was taken control of, they would have realized that it was less risky to dispose of the body. Now, we're not looking for a concealed clandestine gravesite. It's very hard. I've been out in that area, the part of the desert. It's very tough to dig. So we're looking for a body dump, an open gravesite, or we're looking for a concealed gravesite. But the other thing, too, I would just leave with you, Jackson, think about this, that the reward now is up to what, $1.2, $1.3 million? Mm-hmm. I'm telling you right now, you and I just met, but I would dime you out for $50,000. You know, now you put 1.2 million on the table. If that doesn't move the needle, what does that tell you? I would say it's a very small group of people, no less than one. And I'd say no more, obviously no less than one, but no more than two involved in this, because if one person knows a secret and they tell somebody, it's no longer a secret. So I would say no more than two people involved because 1.2 million hasn't moved the needle yet.
Interesting. So you think it's no more than two
That's
people.
why I think she made
like
the ransom so much money, because she knew she wasn't going to pay it to anybody.
Yeah.
That's what the video was about. That's what it was.
Absolutely.
I forgot at first. That's what Savannah's last video was about. It wasn't just the money she was giving to the missing and exploited children. And so it was also that she was putting up this big, huge ass ransom that took her a month to even say she was going to put out. And then when she did, I feel like the only reason she did it was because, again, she knew nobody was going to ask for it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I forgot.
And I think I disagree with him on just two people.
Yeah. Like maybe just two people actually physically did the work of it, but I feel like more people know about it.
Exactly. Yeah. And the reason they're not talking because it's an inside job.
Yeah. Why would they tell on their own family members?
And now it's gone too far.
Yeah. They'd all go to jail. And even the people outside of the family who probably knows about it. Because I still feel like even if I feel like it's an inside job, there's still at least one or two people outside of the family who knows about it too.
Right.
I mean, you didn't get all the security footage and stuff from nowhere.
Right.
And it took to after all this stuff started getting called out for all these things to come out too.
Yeah. And then you found the glove how many days later? After you've already searched the property, then it's ain't O.J. Simpson. That's O.J. Simpson.
Well, and then even the blood splatters, the reporters and people started saying the very first couple of days they saw it. And then it took a week later for like the sheriff or somebody again to come out and be like, oh, by the way, we found blood splatters. I'm like, wait a second. Like reporters said that like a week ago.
Yeah.
Like,
what about
just
the blood?
now saw them? Like what were y'all doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and my thing is too, is I understand that if she had an aide that came or a nurse, I don't know if she did, but I would think if if she had hurt herself, that aide or nurse would have cleaned that up unless it was done that night.
Yeah.
So that had to have been done within the hours ago.
Yeah.
Or
yeah, because it would have been documented if she,
Yeah.
if at that age,
Yeah.
more than likely, she had somebody checking
Yeah.
on her other
Yeah.
than family.
Right.
And let's
Yep.
see, I'm gonna go through comments real quick where we left off, and then we'll finish out this part and then get ready for Watts Island tonight. But yes, Woofy, I do. I think the daddy diddles a lot of them. So I
Yes.
think that's where this has kind of started too. And we watched some of
Mhm.
those interviews with Amy Duggar, who was his niece, the dad's niece, and she talks about that kind of, not directly, but she comes out and says it in a roundabout
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
that it's stemming from him.
Yeah, that it's a
Family
cycle.
problem.
Mhm.
Let's see. Everyone's saying hello.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna make you
Mhm.
mad.
It
Mhm.
will.
Yeah.
Let's see. Almost through the comments. Yep, here we go. Okay, so then we're gonna finish this part of it because I kind of like how this guy's he's being very thorough and like kind of like calling
Yeah.
out the bullshit routes, and I kind of like that they do
Yeah.
it on TMZ. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for the rest of his interview.
Yeah.
That, and what actually Savannah has intimated herself on social media is that Nancy is unfortunately no longer with us. So it's obviously the prospect of it being a homicide is obviously very tragic. But since, let's move forward and operate under the assumption that she has passed away. I want to put you in a hypothetical. The Guthrie family has hired you as a detective to operate, I don't know the legality behind this, independently from the FBI or the Pima County Sheriff's Office. What tactics are you utilizing to your advantage to
They
find
hired
where
him.
Nancy Guthrie went?
Yeah, I don't know. I
So I'm
doesn't
going to
really
make an
kill
assumption
my
here. I'm going to assume that I have
suspicions, though.
access to everything
wish
law
it did, but
enforcement
it
has,
doesn't.
from an information
Mhm.
standpoint. So if I have the same thing, the example I would give you, and I know you guys have covered it, Rex Sherman, the Long Island serial killer, Gilgo Beach. That case was not solved with new evidence. That case was solved with evidence they already had, and it took a fresh set of eyes to go back in. So I think this is the point in the case where you need to take a step back and say, park your pride at the door, park your ego at the door. Let's bring in new people and take a fresh set of eyes. I would operate as that fresh set of eyes. I would have no assumptions. I wouldn't let the media narrative, I wouldn't let the sheriff's narrative or anybody's narrative influence me.
Or the
You
family.
you deconstruct it, try and
Mhm.
reconstruct it. You deconstruct it
that.
from a first principle standpoint back into its foundational pieces. You fix the structural problems and then you rebuild back up. I would look at technical things, which I know they're doing, cell site location information. I would start looking at another thing. It's called AdTech. It's a company I work with called Fog Data.
Somebody
we do a
else
lot of
hired
this
a
type of
private
analysis where we look at,
investigator, too.
for example, you've got a phone. I know everybody
Yeah,
does.
Prophets.
You've got apps that run on this
Mhm.
phone, regardless of the carrier. Those apps collect data because the end user license agreement says you agree
Yeah,
to
just
allow
'cause
us
they
to
hire
collect
them
the
doesn't
data
mean
from the
nothing
app
to me.
maker. A lot of people don't read the
That's
fine
my
print, but
point.
it's in there.
Mhm.
Well, we can aggregate those and look at signals. So I did a whole signals analysis around Nancy's house looking for things. The other thing you do is you do an egress analysis. You look at, there are only so many ways to get to a main road when you leave Nancy's house. And I've been out there, like I said, it's like a bowl of spaghetti. You turn it upside down. Those roads go all over the place. But at some point, they get back to structured roads that lead down to other structured roads and interstate. So you start looking at that. You start saying, as we do our canvas, and I was out there, I'll tell you, Jackson, the thing I was surprised of, a lot of the businesses did not have cameras on the outside of their business. I saw very few in some of the major intersections that you would have gone through. The other thing
Maybe
too
Kata,
is,
you went and took
it's
them
what
all
I know they're
down.
doing, but you work your informant
Mhm.
network. It's human
I think Katie
intelligence.
Proudfoot was
You start
around
working
there.
your informant networks.
Yeah.
What have you heard? What do you know? You look for the non-obvious. I know a lot of people say, well, she could have been taken to Mexico. I did a Substack with a friend of mine named Aaron Graham. He was DEA. He was actually targeted for kidnapping by one of the cartels when they moved him from Mexico to Tucson. Another friend of mine, retired ATF, Pete Friselli, he worked for ATF. He did home invasion investigations in Tucson and Phoenix. We talked about those things. So I would go back and I would start looking for the non-obvious thing. The other thing too I would do, Jackson, is I don't care what everybody else has said or investigated, because to them it becomes canonical, it becomes sacred. You can't touch the narrative. The narrative, we've worked on this narrative. Here's our evidence. This is our interpretation of it. Well, the problem is you have the physical layer, the things that exist. Then you have the evidentiary layer. Evidence doesn't mean anything until meaning is applied to it, until interpretation is applied to it. So you go to the interpretation layer, and then then you move up from the interpretation layer to the narrative layer. Well, too many people jump from evidence to narrative, which we're seeing right now. I've done a lot of analysis on the James Gracie case over in Barcelona. First when he was missing, now that he's been recovered, and the Spanish police are saying all indications are that it was an accident. And my question is, how do you know? You haven't done an autopsy. You haven't done anything yet. How do you know? So we have to be careful of jumping to that narrative. So I would deconstruct everything back into the atomic, basically the atoms, the atomic level, and work backwards from that. Is it time consuming? Is it painstaking? Yeah. But we're talking about kidnapping. We're talking about potentially murder. These are the most serious crimes you can commit in a society, and you need to be dedicated to doing that. So I would bring everything to bear. There's forensic analysis, there's cell site analysis, there's ad tech, but just what we used to call Goya code. I was taught by some of the original members of the FBI's behavioral science unit. They called it Goya code. Get off your ass, knock on doors. Sometimes it's just shoe leather. Sometimes you got to go out and just knock on doors and do follow-up. So I can't promise you that would get results. But what can I tell you? If I were going to do this, I would start, and I wouldn't listen to what anybody else's assumptions were. I'd bring in a team, I'd isolate them, and I'd work the evidence from the ground up and go back and take nothing for granted. I don't care what your assumptions were. We disregard everything. We rebuild the case from the ground up. And that's if I did that, that's how I would approach it.
I want to go back to something that you said that piqued my interest. There were a variety there's a variety of technology at your disposal, and it seems like at law enforcement's disposal to possibly track the people that did this. Is there anywhere that AI is incorporated into those frameworks? Can it be used to help solve this case?
I don't want to sound like I'm pimping out my Substack, but I wrote an article about AI and the use of this in cases like this, right? But AI only works if the data exists. If the data doesn't exist, AI can't help you because you can't create the data. And that's the problem with hallucinations with AI. But what it can do is that if you can compile a large corpus, put all the information in one, you can't connect the dots unless you collect the dots, and the dots all have to be in one place. And that's the premise behind the National Center for Open and Unsolved Cases. I would say it's, you put the police and the public on a single platform, put all the dots in one place, connect the dots. AI can help with that. AI can help with non-obvious relationships. AI can help and here's the biggest thing about AI though, Jackson. AI has to have guardrails too. You just cannot say, hey, ChatGPT, who killed Nancy Guthrie or who abducted her? You can't do that, right? So we actually, and one of the things we teach at the National Center and one of our law enforcement liaisons, I teach we're actually developing the rest of the course right now, but it's called Structured Prompts and AI for Criminal Investigations. It's how do you use structured prompts so that you can take advantage of open source. I do this on fugitive cases for the U.S. Marshals. One of our law enforcement liaisons just worked with the Texas Rangers on one of their cases, gave them 19 pages of information they did not know exist because we used a structured prompt. So there are a lot of creative ways that we can use technology. You have to define what you want out of it first. You cannot just say, hey, Claude, hey, Grok, go do this. Context. What's the role that you're assuming? Are you an analyst? Are you an investigator? Are you a reporter? Make sure that it asks you questions to clarify and deepen the understanding of what the task is, and then give it a task. I want you to produce a report. The structured prompt just for homicide investigations that I use is 2 pages long. That's not actually a long prompt considering some of the others, but it's long enough that it does what we need it to do. So that's the danger with AI. It has a lot of promise, but it is not a silver bullet. It has to be constrained. It's a weapon, but it has to be pointed in the correct direction.
Yeah, it can be really
given the
wrong,
constraints
AI.
that it operates under. And then anything that you do, you have to double check it. But it can look through 10 million lines of code in seconds to where it would take me days or weeks. So that's the advantage, it's speed and accelerating the momentum of the case.
Morgan, you've been absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much.
Yeah, a lot of information. So I'll pause
Yeah.
it right there real quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I like what this guy's saying for the most part. I mean, wouldn't that be something if he ends up tracing it back to to them,
Yeah, it would.
As far as
yeah.
like the
Yeah.
I think of their Guthrie family, I guess you would say. But hold on. Chicken Lady had a question about Ashley Banfield report. Now I heard that's why she got removed off of whatever channel she was on. Ashley Banfield, like she got removed off of some network because she was questioning the Watts case. And then that's when she kind of got moved to whatever platform she's on now. But I don't know much about
I heard that too, but I'll have to listen to that.
I don't know what she said though.
I
That
don't
was
either.
so controversial, other than she kind of, I think, did question, and I'm just going to say what I think it was possibly was some of maybe things that were being said on Facebook about medical conditions and things like that.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe she was bringing up some of those questions about the lupus or the girls being sick or something along those lines. Again, I'm not 100% positive, but I could really only see those things possibly being things that could get her banned or kicked off of a network. At that point.
I think a video that we're going to look at, we're not going to look at it today on the Watts Island, but I have a very interesting video that I sent Megan, and we are going to go over it when we start talking about Shanann. And it talks, for me, it gives the answer to if she had lupus or not.
Yeah.
To me, it does. But maybe that might be, some other people's opinion may be different, and that's okay. But we will go over that video when we do get to Shanann about
and
that.
I think the thing that's why it's important about some of the health things is because I think that was a big hook with the MLM, was to upsell possible things that didn't exist.
Right. So show you how good the product was.
Right. So like I have all these things wrong and so do my kids, but look how great we're doing. You know what I mean? And so I think that was part of what the calling it out about was to begin with, but then it got very quickly turned to, well, you're victim shaming or blaming. And I don't think that's what Ashley Banfield was trying to do. I think it was more showing what damage MLMs can cause within the household because of what they encourage you to do. And
you have to encourage you. You have to go down those avenues. You have to look at that stuff because
it's reality and it was happening. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, and it's all part of the story. I mean, it's just another part of the story in their life because that was what she did.
Yeah, and it probably had a lot, and I would imagine a lot to do with their finances. I mean, when you don't see any issues that they were. I mean, you don't hear it or see it from them in the lives or in their routines. Them always going on vacations, even the places they shopped. If you had money problems, you wouldn't be able to do those things.
Yeah.
And so what I think it was too was maybe, selling a life that doesn't exist. I think it is coming to light with just what everybody's feeling, I think, as a whole collective in the world. I think people are tired of being lied to. And I think what we're talking about with the MLN is they just felt lied to about it, and that they were selling, again, this lifestyle that was so great and you could have it too. Just do what I do. Just take this like I do.
But they were in so much debt, but they didn't show that part. That's like the Duggars. Look how good they look. Look how 19 kids, look how great we're doing.
But his own niece wasn't even allowed to wear a bathing suit around him or spend the night there.
Yeah, we're so happy. Look how great we're doing. But that's not really how it was.
No.
But that's how they portrayed it on TV. And that's how we saw it on Facebook. If you look at our videos, and that's one of the reasons I'd like to, once we get Chris tucked in prison,
right?
How we want to, then we're gonna talk about Shanann and just her life and what she did and stuff. Not because I'm going after her. It's just a part of it.
Yeah, it is a part of it, and I think when you look at it that way, I don't think anybody. I mean, if you've never dealt with anybody who has similar abusive or narcissistic tendencies like those people dealt with in their relationships, what led to their murders or whatever, then that's probably great. You've never dealt with that in your whole life. But I think most people have somebody or a situation or a relationship in their life. They can say, yeah, that relationship was like that. And I remember people making me feel bad for saying I didn't want to be around them anymore. I didn't want to be a part of it anymore. I wanted to say something because something was going wrong. And look what happened. Or, or luckily something didn't happen. But what if it did?
And
what
you
if something
probably
would have happened?
Didn't have a name for it.
Yeah.
At that time. But now oh yeah, they were a narcissist or they were whatever.
And it was signs. Like all these things were signs. And if I would have paid attention, maybe I could have avoided this situation or I could have, handled it differently or something like that. But I'm just saying I don't see what's wrong with evaluating that as an individual. And I just and I think people jump to victim blaming because it usually touches something they ain't dealt with yet and they don't want to. And that's all it is. And I think I met a lot of people on my channel when I first started doing readings who literally compared themselves to that situation and was like, I think I was just like her. You know what I mean? Like in my relationship. And I realized I nagged a lot or I did this a lot or my husband was like them. And so it's like, it made them reflect. If they would have never had that chance, maybe their lives would have gone differently too and not in a great way.
Right.
So I think you do have to really look at something for what it is. It doesn't mean the person deserved it or any of that stuff. I think if that's the only way that somebody can see it, then again, maybe that person isn't healed or they got their own issues and problems they need to address because I mean, come on, like for anybody to think just because you're talking about something, you're blaming somebody, that's a bit ridiculous. And that's the biggest jump.
I know some people said, but the Watts is over with. I mean, the Watts case is over. It's not, but it's not because for me, when it happened, I didn't have a platform. Although I did go on like Unjustified and Cher's channel, and I did say what I thought, but I really didn't say what I thought. I really didn't get a chance to go to the case and say what I wanted to say. And I am a big believer in that you can learn from anything, no matter how many times you watch it, you see things you didn't see before.
Right.
And I just don't believe that everybody that is involved in that has paid for it. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about it. So I think and it's my platform, and that's what I want to do. So that's why I'm talking about the watch.
And I think it's important too. Like, it just shows you like something that maybe you didn't see before. Like, I think I've learned more from listening to the channels I don't agree with, or the people I don't agree with sometimes than I've ever learned just sitting with someone who agrees with me.
Yeah.
Completely. You know what I mean? Like I said, there was certain things, like when I first started watching channels who looked at it at a different view, I was like, oh wow, that's kind of risky, like bringing it up that way. But then when you start watching the paperwork, like they have all the paperwork, it's not made up stuff that they're looking at, you know? So it's like, well, they kind of have a point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it starts making you wonder, well, am I victim blaming? Because everybody says, well, if I believe them, then I'm doing it too. You know what I mean? But then you realize that's not it. Like, you're just evaluating it. You're just thinking about it, analyzing it. So, but yeah, I don't know. I just think that's the interesting part. And that's kind of where Ashley Banfield got caught up.
Yeah.
You know?
Moonchild, good night, in case you've already said it. I'm sorry. Good night. Have a good night.
Yes. And then we'll finish. Let me see how much. I think this is probably the end right here. So let's see what this is saying this last 3 minutes. If he doesn't say anything, then we'll kind of go ahead and I guess end it here and then get ready for the next one. But I'm just curious if he's going to add anything extra right here.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I have one more question for you. Do you ever see this case getting solved?
There's two things. There's cases that are closed and cases that are resolved. I don't think this case will ever, because you can close a case without resolving all the major issues. We've done that on homicides before, where they do it with fugitives. I mean, 100 years later, pretty sure the guy's dead. So you can close the case, but you haven't resolved the structural issues in it.
Yeah.
This case, I think all the information they need to solve the case is in their possession. All the information we needed to solve the DC sniper was in our possession. I did a whole briefing to the FBI on that. Do I think it? I can't tell you. What I can tell you is that they have to continue to take the steps. If the case is solved, I think it's going to come down to a lucky break. Sometimes you need luck. Sometimes I'd rather be lucky than good, as they say. Sometimes you need a citizen that overhears. Time, the other thing too, we found with unsolved homicides that have gone on for 10, 15 years, a fraternity brother of mine retired as a Cincinnati detective. But before he did, they went back and solved a 44-year-old case of the only unsolved officer killed in Cincinnati. And they did it because they went back and they just did interviews, and the family members said, "Oh, you're here because my dad killed that cop with a 38," which was exactly it. They were able to at that point not only close the case but resolve the case. They couldn't prosecute him because he was dead.
Yeah, because he's dead, so they don't care anymore.
These are the toughest things to answer.
Right.
Do I want it
Same reason why the
solved?
watch is sealed. Same. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, because they're dead, so they don't care anymore.
Right.
Will it be solved? Not up to me. It's up to the evidence. It's up to the people. It's up to the perpetrators maybe making a mistake, information getting out. But that's why you have to maintain persistence. That's why you have to keep following up on this. Sometimes uncertainty, you have to accept uncertainty.
And them kids probably hated their dad. They probably a complete asshole, beating the crap out or something like that. They're probably just waiting for somebody to come by and be like, "Hey, did you remember this?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, where you been?" You know what I mean? Like, not even realizing, like, yeah, we could probably go in there thinking nobody would listen to them still or something like that.
And I think it's great that they solve them, but it's sad that the person never paid for it.
Yeah.
They just lived their full life, and that's, they will pay for it now as they're gone. But I'm just saying, it's a shame that they didn't.
Not on our earthly justice like you want to see.
Yeah, it's a shame because, that cop's family never got justice.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
And that's kind of where I think, and interestingly enough, Amy's interview pops up right here about how she, kind of was finally saying all this stuff and telling the truth finally, because like, it's never going to stop unless you tell the truth, which this, kids are saying, yeah, actually my dad's the one that killed that cop, by the way, again, probably just waiting for the time to finally just say something.
Yeah.
So it just shows you too how much people really want to do the right thing too and want to do good, but they just think they can't because whether their families have silenced them, told them not to say anything, or they're black sheep, or they're conspiracy theorists, or they're crazy if they do, right? So I think that it's kind of interesting how even right here, what he's saying ties back to what Amy Duggar said about her family, which ties back to some of the stuff we hear about the other cases with the children and stuff that's happened. So
and Ronnie, that's the other thing is some people never heard of the Watts case.
Right.
Surprisingly,
yeah.
Yeah, it is. But, there again, it was only 3 days. And then he was in jail, and then he was prosecuted by November, but there's so much evidence out there. There's so many channels that have done it, and so many questions that I think it would probably still be studied, but I think it wouldn't be as much studied or talked about if they'd prosecuted everybody.
I think it'd be more outrage than anything at this point when they're like, I
Right.
can't believe y'all kept all this, or y'all, why didn't y'all tell us this, or something like that. I think it'd be more of that we'd be dealing with than versus like anything else. Because I think most people, like, again, like a community perspective of what's happened and what people think, I think is usually a pretty good idea. I think most of like that officer who was just on there, like, what does the community think? What does the public think? Usually what they think is almost down the route of what happened.
Yeah.
They just want you to discredit your instincts and your gut. That's all.
And sometimes they don't want to take the public's view or answer. They just kind of disregard what the public or the community or the neighbors have to say. But I mean, and that's like with a lot of YouTubers, they have a lot of good, studying and good breaking things down. And I think they don't listen enough to what some of the YouTubers do. Now there's some that they really go the wrong way, but I think the people that they should be listening to, I think they discredit a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there's some people who have been looking at certain cases for years, like spending all their personal time on it. Like I know Mob Crew has been doing that with Sebastian's case for the longest.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been going to see about the cemeteries and, what happened with the cameras that night and going through all that stuff. And I wouldn't know how to do any of that camera stuff, so it's great that there's people that know how to do all that stuff. So, and I mean, you just hope like when they turn it in, somebody actually, like you're saying, actually sits down and looks at it and takes it serious, because what's the difference between someone who's just as invested in spending 2 or 3 years of their life doing something than someone who like Eric Craddock, who sits there and does nothing.
Yeah.
But he's in charge of the whole thing.
Yeah. Cause a tip is a tip. A tip, a tip is a tip. And they say that's what keeps cases alive is tips and things coming in, people sending stuff in, the hotline and stuff. As long as there's tips to follow and leads to follow, that keeps a case open. So that's what worries me about Sebastian's case. Are they telling me they're getting tips and leads every week and they're following them? I don't believe that.
I don't either. Yeah. But they're also not telling you it's closed. So yeah, it's purposeful, like manipulation and confusion.
Yeah.
It's always been that way with his, like with Summers again. And I think that the CPS system in Tennessee had a lot to do with why these kids are missing. I think that they were the ones also helping sell them off in the trafficking that runs through Tennessee. And I think that's why a lot of their systems are being questioned in Tennessee right now. Some of these places have already started dismantling CPS in their states. Like they've already started to like destroy the system and start to rebuild it. So
they're
I think
trying
the same
to
thing kind of needs to happen in Tennessee, a lot, pretty much everywhere. Yeah, pretty much everywhere, but for Tennessee for sure, because you can see.
Well, they're trying to do it here too. It's not CPS here. It's DFAS. Is it DFAS? I think but they're trying to do that here also. It's been
it's a little different everywhere.
Yeah.
And I think it would be good, again, just to kind of dismantle it, rebuild it, and then hopefully we can get something better out of it, because it's definitely not doing us any good here. I mean, you look at all these kids, and again, a lot of that was involved before it ever happened.
Right.
So, but all right. Well, thank you for looking at these with me for the Duggars and then the little bit of Guthrie, and then we'll, meet again for Watts Island a little bit later. I'm excited.
Sure. Yeah. I told them probably 5 or 5:30, but when me and you get off here, we'll decide what time. I wanted to give you time. I know you need to cook for your family and stuff, and I need to go and check on my husband. He's had the flu. Do that.
Well, and I'll be ready.
Yeah. So I will put the notification out probably here in the next 30 minutes. So everybody will know what time we're going to go to Watts Island.
Well,
make sure you massage your hands today. You're going to do a lot of back rubbing tonight.
Yeah. Ready for a nice back rub.
That's right. Wear your striped suit.
Dan Damn burglar. Don't forget to bring Jim.
We got to make some fashion statements tonight. Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
All
man, I'm
right.
excited. All right. Well, I will see you there.
All right. Talk to y'all
All right.
later.
Bye, y'all. See you there.
Bye. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Yes, thank y'all.